Welcome, 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 Star Family, beautiful souls. Welcome to my home with grace and gratitude. You are welcome. All we ask is that you check any attitudes off at the door. We've got a lot to cover today. I was feeling some really dark stuff that did not want this to start. So some of you, I don't even know if you recognize it, but the fact that you're here tells me that you recognize something is off. I was pulled to do a group reading, so there'll be 4 in total. If you do not want to stay for the group reading, you are more than welcome to jump into the readings that we have here. You probably already saw it, but just in case, I'm going to read the titles that we have. So reading 1 is Changes, reading 2 is Easy Living, and reading 3, Pastel Reflections. And it's funny because I don't know how it's going to go across there, because I almost feel like, wouldn't this be 1, 2, 3, right? Like right to left, but no, I guess it's left to right. But either way, did you ever say a word a lot, or like think of something over and over, and then you're like, what is that? What does that mean? What is that word? You know what I mean? That's what's happening here. The fact that they even had me cover up, you may know this deck, so you'll know exactly what deck this is, but they had me cover it up with this moon. And let me tell you something that's even more interesting, is that this was set up before Spirit had me go through my music. Okay, so I have to show you. It's so beautiful. It's kind of wild, actually. Hold on, let me make sure. I have it offline, but I always like to make sure the volume's down just in case. Okay, so I have to go back a little bit and tell you this, because the shadow that was coming out of this reading was pretty intense. So I'm going to, by the way, when I was told what this was all going to be, Amy Winehouse came in. Sorry, my phone was offline, but now it's back. But do you see where it says Back to Black, original, like whatever? Oh my gosh, it's her original like demo of it. It's so fucking good. I highly recommend. I'm like, I don't think I ever heard that before. Like, you can hear her little quips in the background, and I'm like, what? I mean, they could have just left that and it would have been a hit. I mean, anyway, interesting. So a lot of shit's going to come through, okay? So that's first and foremost that they want me to say. And this is not a reading for the light at heart. Also, Moses is here. Everybody say hi and welcome Moses, because I feel like Moses has come into readings before with me, but like, I've been doing readings now for about a decade. So it's interesting to me that well, I've always been doing readings, right? But I didn't know I was doing readings. I was just giving advice to people, and using my intuition and my gut and stuff like that. But anyway, I digress. So there's definitely, I know I've worked with Moses before, but it's so infrequent that I went, oh, like it took me aback. But the shadow that was creeping out of this fucking reading was intense. And I can't wait to share this deck with you. You may be able to see the name of it somehow, but all I know is it's got the author on the top. And the author has a channel on YouTube as well. But anyway, you could jump to it right now if you want to go to it. You know, some of you like to watch all the readings. These are messages from Spirit. But I'm also going to go ahead and state the title, and then we're going to jump into the reading, into the music, and I'll show you. There's so much going on. It's so intense. Like I was so excited to do this, but then it's one of those things where I get so excited, I'm setting it up, everything's so fun, and then everything starts going awry. Bubba is like feeling this, and that's happening, and this is happening, and I have a tiny home, right? So like, I literally have 10 feet of space, you know, across to work with everything. And as you can see, I'm on the couch, and then there's a table, and then behind that table is, you know, my counter, you know, basically. And it was just this erratic energy where like Bubba was like back and forth, and And I was like, okay. I'm like, I need to start this reading. I'm like, what's going on? But then she was telling me exactly what she needed. She's like, I need this. I'm like, okay. And she's like, I need this. I'm like, okay. She's like, I need this. I need this. I need this. And now she's all calm. She's sleeping. She's like in a really happy place. She wanted to be under here. She was underneath the table. She was so excited. But then when it started to go, she was like, meow, meow. And I was like, dude, I'm like trying to go on a table, like look at her. I'm like, baby, I'm like, this is where I'm at. I'm like, you'll have to move. And then I realized as this was coming together is that a lot of you are not comfortable with being uncomfortable. So that is going to be the theme of our group reading, which I'm sure will bleed into all the other readings, because as they do, right? But this title, this pick a reading is The Fellowship of the Ring, ... on the Stairway to Heaven. So if you found yourself here, you are part of the Fellowship of the Ring. You know, and if you remember, there were 9 members of the ring. I had to actually go through them. I'm like, there's 7, right? And they're like, 9. And I'm like, 9? And then I started naming them. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, oh, of course. I'm like, yeah, there's 4 hobbits. Just the 4 hobbits, and Gandalf is 5. And then we have Gimli. And then why can't I think of Orlando Bloom's character? The elf, right? The elvish. And then we have Boromir, the warrior, right? And then we have Aragorn, the king. And I just, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to watch all of the Lord of the Rings series. You may even want to watch The Hobbit first, like watch The Hobbit and then Lord of the Rings. I have yet to do that. I've watched all of the Hobbits together, and I've watched all of the Lord of the Rings together, like over a weekend or whatever. Some days I got really cocky and did it on one day. Anyway, I feel like they're trying to use that as a metaphor for us, that we have been going, you know, we're warriors. So like we've been here, you know, interesting. My little jacket wanted to come through that has these, I don't know if I could put my arm on there so you guys can see it. Do you see the little star button? Anyway, oh, there. Do you see it? So this was handmade by a prima ballerina from France. And I was so grateful to hear the story of it when I found it at a vintage store. They're like, oh yeah, she brought her stuff in. She told us. They're like, and I was like one of the few people that can actually fit in our stuff. You know, I'm just a small person. I'm like a hobbit myself. But anyway, you know, they're trying to remind us that we come from the stars. And just as those 4 hobbits, you know, were pulled, chosen, whatever you want to look at it, Gandalf, the wizard, right? It's like, I'm telling you each one, right? Like Boromir comes from, he's also, you know, will be a king, right? The whole thing is like, is Boromir going to be the king? Or is, Aragorn going to be the king? You know, that kind of thing. Like, who's going to be the king? Who's going to be the king? But you know, we have the elvish and we have the dwarfs, right? And it's like, those are the different types of species, energies, but all on the same planet, all fighting the same shadow, the same darkness, right? Wanting to heal, which is why they gave the ring to Frodo, because Frodo was the one who had the purest of the heart. You know, Frodo and well, actually, it was for Frodo to be the warrior that he was meant to be. I don't want to give the story away if you haven't seen it. But, oh my gosh, and Samwise Gamgee. Oh my gosh, how did I miss Samwise? Oh, because he's in the Hobbits. Sorry. Because I said the 4 hobbits. But anyway, there's so much going on, you guys. So and this is early. Like, I mean, I got up, I think at like 5 or 6 in the morning. Like, I'm in a very interesting place in real time. Today is November 3rd. We're still in the energy of the new moon in Virgo. They didn't precisely have me, you know, strike this as a new moon reading, but I am putting it out there that that's when it is. And so I feel like all of us are in different places in the Fellowship of the Ring. By the way, I wore this shirt for us today because we are full on in autumn. And for my witches, you know, I wanted to, even though it was a day reading, I wanted to give us like this kind of like We're going into autumn feel. I even use this really pretty like autumn fabric. And anyway, okay, they're giving me some information. Hold on. So those of you who have seen the story know that Frodo really doesn't want anything to do with the ring, but he knows that it's his mission. He knows that it's his task. He knows it. He knows it. And as it goes on, he more and more realizes like that it's not an option anymore. Like he didn't get that far to only get that far. And that's what they're trying to tell you. If you notice in the story, and if you've never seen it, I don't want to give too much away, but you know, each one of the characters all go through different phases of their self-love, their love for others, their loyalty to themselves, their loyalty to others. How when they start, they're like this very like unlikely group to work together, but in the end they're so close, right? Because they go through so much together. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the actual actors that played those characters, because they, you know, when they shot it, they shot all 3 of the movies over like 18 months or something. It might have been longer. I think altogether they may have, you know, 22 months or something. It took like 2 years for them to like create the sets and do all that. That's why you can actually go there and visit the sets in New Zealand, because they made it so real. Like it was, you know, I can't think of his name right now, but it was his dream, the director, you know, it was his dream. He and his wife, they were a team, and it was their dream to bring this book. They're both of them loved it so much, and they wanted to bring the dream to life. And so by doing that, they were like, we have to create a real place for us to feel like we are these real people, these real characters. You know, there wasn't, I mean, there was some CGI, I'm sure, but back then it's like that was all makeup. That was, you know, recently I watched something, First We Feast with Viola Davis, and she was talking about Wakanda, and how, like, you know, she's like, we did all those stunts. She's like, I'm in my 50s, like, you know. And so when I was listening to the music as I was coming up to this, they were giving me all of this energy, and one of the songs was called Empty Bottles from Willie Nelson, or Dusty Bottles, something like Dusty Bottles. And he talks about how it's not easy getting older, you know, but the one thing that you do gain is wisdom. If you take the wisdom with you, right? If you take the lessons and learn from them. But if you keep going in the same loops over and over, you know, it's like you're not moving forward. You're not going to where you need to be. So if you found yourself on this channel and on this reading, Spirit wants to remind you that you're part of the Fellowship of the Ring. We are walking everybody home. We are showing them that heaven is here. Like, we're showing them the stairway to heaven. We're just basically taking them out of the 3rd dimensional experience and into the 5th dimensional experience of, that's really, they're just leveling up. That's what heaven really is, right? It's like, you know, but there's heaven on earth, and then it's like when we die, we don't go to just one place. I had this experience this morning with Spirit, and I said, do I just go from body to body? Like, I'm like, because I kind of feel sometimes like I can tell I take breaks, you know what I mean? I can tell, because there's periods of time where I don't remember my dreams at all. Or like Spirit will have me smoke a shitload of cannabis before I go to bed, because I can't, you know, they don't want me to remember like whatever I'm doing, wherever I'm going. And I think it's really just a time for my soul and my body to just relax. It hasn't happened in a really long time. But even like the last, like, I don't know how long, it's been so long now, every night, I don't know exactly where I'm going, but I definitely can feel that I'm in other dimensions, and I'm working in other places, and I'm working with my consciousness, and you know, I can really, really, really feel that. And please feel free to comment below and share your experiences. If I don't always respond, I will at some point. Sometimes I'll do them all in one day, you know. Especially I laugh because Anna is the president of the Magical Medium. Hi Anna. Anna, a lot of times, a lot of you guys do comment, but Anna comments probably the most. Thank you so much, Anna. And so sometimes, like, I'll email her like separately because we're friends outside of here. Or, you know, you guys are all my family, but like we talk outside of here. And I'll be like, I'm sorry I inundated you with risks, because I'll give her like 24 responses in one day. And even myself, I'm like, get more creative with your emojis, you know. But I'm coming back. I'm coming back. I can feel that I'm coming back, but like there's just so much happening right now. I have a bunch of crystals over here. So basically, they just want you to know that you have a purpose, and your purpose is to be a light worker. And these are not going to be easy. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm telling you right now. And this one, the easy living, the energy I get from this is because this is the wellness library. So there's all these there's 3 different decks in there. So I feel like this is going to be some really great hints to kind of like let you guys know, you know, how to bring the easy living to your life, how to have more wellness in your life. This one changes from the divine feminine, you know. I'm like, they're saying it's okay to say this, but okay, in like human thing, these bitches keep it real. You know what I mean? Like, these bitches keep it real. These bitches keep it real. And they take that as a compliment, you know, like, bitches, it's just a word, like, you know, it's like saying my girls. What's the difference? They're like, it's just a word, you know. Bitch is a female dog, if you look at it like that, right? And you know, it's like humans can have more than one child, but they're not like dogs. Dogs can have a whole litter, right? I just saw the cutest litter of puppies, these pit bull puppies. Oh my gosh, I almost cried. They were so cute. 9 of them. She carried 9 little beings in her belly. You go, dog, right? So, and this one, Pastel Reflections, is very interesting because I have to show you this here now. See how it's like weaving in. The reason why I love this so much is that they had me pull this card out to put in front of this before I saw that. So that's what made it so wild. And I have to show you the pictures because, you know, I love to do that. But so many things came through. It was really unreal. My mom came through. Okay, so our first one was this, you know, David Bowie's Changes. He's always looking out for us. David Bowie's such a wild and wicked angel. I love him so much. Okay, so we've got Changes, right? Then the next one is Easy Living from Billie Holiday. But look at even the flowers. There's like a lot of pastel. I feel like they're trying to get us to soften up, which is funny because I'm wearing red and like dark brown. And then we've got oranges, yellows, you know what I mean? Marigold. So it's kind of interesting. Okay, so, oh, sorry. So that was Easy Living, right? And then the next one, sorry. And then the next one, Easy Living, was the Pastel Reflections. I was like, come on, come on, come on. Sorry, my necklace is getting all twisted. That's the one. So maybe you're even drawn to the pictures more. They had me show them. And even this, I love this picture because that's when he was more like in his kind of Ziggy Stardust, very androgynous, flamboyant energy. And I'm really feeling like we're going to hear some really cool messages. And we may only get one card from each one. It may be a long reading. I'm not really sure. But I love the fact that this kind of like Fellowship of the Ring. Oh my gosh. It was like the second I heard the music, I was like, oh, wow. And then, oh, okay, that's what they want me to do. They want me to read Stairway to Heaven's lyrics because this, okay, so your mission, should you choose to accept it? No, you don't. Okay, thank you. No, we don't. But your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to listen to Stairway to Heaven. And let me see if I can find, I'll put the exact link. But the cool thing I love about this exact imagery is it reminds me of, I think it's the 7 of Wands or the 9 of Wands. I'm not a tarot expert for my tarot people. What's the one where the guy's carrying all the wands on his back? Is the 10 of Wands? I know it's the wands for sure, and I know it's like a it's a hardship, and that's what it looks like. Like that's why hold on. That's why I love it so much, because I feel like it's definitely a message. Here, this one. Do you see that? Sorry, my phone's kind of dirty. I mean, so that's really interesting. Led Zeppelin. I love Led Zeppelin. Oh, and then that song, Ho Hey from the Lumineers. Oh, that song was like really amazing. If they have me pull any other ones. And then this French one, I feel like I meant to show this to somebody with the Pidgeys and the Eiffel Tower. These could just be messages to some of you guys. You know, spirit works through me like Bumblebee. Heaven's Light. I guess I can just go this way. I just don't want to burn myself on the... Oh, and then the Boxer, which was one of my mom's favorite songs. So I felt like a bunch of interesting energy from my mom. What's that one? Oh, Eternal Grace in the Garden. And then Cheap Tricks, the Dream Police. Spirit saying, don't be cheap tricked. Like, don't be tricked by, like, your dreams. Some of you are taking your dreams too literally, and they're saying, remember that dreams are just metaphors, right? Some dreams are like, it's, how do you want me to say it? They just shut it off. Okay, so we want to talk about that for a second. I feel like for some of you, you need to start understanding what's your consciousness, your subconsciousness, astral traveling, dreams, downloads. In my experience, it seems to be the more peculiar and odd and like kind of like circus-like seem to be the dreams, like where it's like it's your subconscious. It's not the most reliable state, right? Because there's so much going on, because your subconscious takes in so much. And so you have your consciousness, which is connected to spirit and light. This is what they're telling me. Okay, this is what I'm downloading. And then there's your subconsciousness that's connected to your ego, to your core. They're all the same, right? They're all connected. It's just different levels of like your psyche, so to speak. It's like they're trying to have me to explain this in a way that we'll all understand. Because I'm like, huh? Even I'm like right now going, huh? Isn't it? Like, they're like, but open your mind and open your heart, right? Like, think about this for a second. Like I said, you know how sometimes you're like, I don't remember at all. I had a really good night's sleep. I don't remember my dreams, right? So that's like your mind, your body, and your soul taking a break. But when you have things going on, the subconscious, if you vividly remember something, you have to start deciphering what your soul is telling you and what your ego is trying to hold on to, because there's so many of us that are here, we're so fucking powerful, right? The Fellowship of the Ring. But why did they need that many? Because they each have their own individual gifts. I remember I was watching a panel actually of the Lord of the Rings, and I've only seen a few of them, but I was watching one of them with the actors, and it tends to be the four hobbits a lot, the brothers. They're like brothers in real life. They really have, all of them are really connected, but like those four are super, super connected, like brothers. And they were saying, somebody said something like, well, because Frodo's the consciousness or something like that. And they all kind of like looked at each other and they're like, no way, man. Like, it's Samwise. Like, he's the heart. Like, right? Like, he's the pure. He's the one that, like, you know what I mean? I don't want to give too much away if you've never seen it, because you all know, like, everybody has moments with Frodo and the ring. They all are, you know, there's different magic afoot that's happening. So Spirit wants you to start understanding your dreams and not being tricked by them. They're saying, now I can come back because there's more on that page. Okay, I hear what you're saying. That's intense, man. I'm like, shit. See, even I'm like, I'm here with you, right? I'm just downloading. Okay, so what I thought was interesting is when they had me take the picture, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm from Chicago, so I've been to the Metro. And I think Cheap Trick are from Chicago, actually. But anyway, so it's Budokan, Cheap Trick, In Color, and Heaven Tonight. But it says Cheap Trick. Oh, I gotta put my glasses on because I don't know what this is saying. Music for hangovers. Oh my gosh. And even look at the imagery of that shadowy figure flying around there. Do you see that? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Do you guys see that shadowy figure? I'm sorry, my phone's not gonna get that. But isn't that wild? That's so wild. There's something really serious going on here with the shadow and the... It's funny that it's about the shadow, but it's called Pastel Reflections. I mean, that's just so funny. So in So it says Cheap Trick, and then it's got 4:30. Isn't that interesting, you guys? I just noticed this. Oh my gosh, I gotta take a picture of this because this is some serious shit. Is that rain? Look at how they're in order. Do you guys see that? It's like the name of it, and then it says 1, 2, 3. Just like we're doing 1, 2, 3 readings. I didn't even fucking notice that till now. That's nutty. That is nutty cuckoo. That is too much. Wow. 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 Also, you guys, alcohol is not your friend, and people in your orbit who are on alcohol are not your friend. And I know that that sounds harsh, but like, of course you may love them and they're your friends, right? Or they're your lovers or your family or whatever, but you guys are in a different realm, all your own. You need to surround yourself with other people like you. It's just what needs to happen. And I know that's hard to hear. And I know that you're struggling. But you're living in a world that's so gone and over. And you have all, if you're new here, welcome. And for those of you who keep coming back, you know I love you so much, all of you. Even the new people love you. Welcome back. But I mean, it's getting to the point where it's like, how much more do I need to say? I almost kind of feel like if you're not going to, you know, maybe you shouldn't watch these readings anymore. Like, don't come here anymore if you're not going to do it. Like, it's kind of like I've fired people before, meaning like I've had, you know, you guys, if you're here, some of you know, I won't do readings for people, certain people anymore. I won't connect with them over the phone or through Zoom or whatever anymore, because I'm like, I don't want to be around that energy. And I can feel it. I can feel it coming off of you. I can feel it when I come into some of these readings. That's why I wanted to back off for a while, because I was like, I'm so connected. We're all so connected. And as we get closer to the light on the planet and pulling away from the darkness and the shadow, you know, the shadow resides inside of us, but it's not supposed to live out freely and just go, you know, run amok, right? It's like we love, you know, certain animals, but we don't just have them running around, right? Like certain animals, they don't come around humans very often, right? Just like we wouldn't go to a zoo and just let ourselves into a den of tigers that haven't eaten for 3 days. You know what I mean? Like, because it's just the way it is. It's like they're just, it's part of who they are. They're just doing their thing. So until people actually change, it's almost like, it's like you're just, I don't know how to explain it, but I'm going to say, I did say to Spirit, you know, because, and this is not my ego. This is my, like I'm trying so hard. There were so many songs leading up to this that were like, be kind, be nice, like, take it easy. Like, don't be so harsh. And so I'm like, I'm doing my best, but at the same time, you guys know it's part of my job is to be the ball buster and call you out and be like, I fucking love you, but you cannot do this anymore. You know, it'd be the difference, okay? So, like, Spirit's looking at it like this. Like the Fellowship of the Ring, right? How did they all come together? Well, they needed people. They called a council and were like, holy shit, somebody done let the dogs out, right? And we're in trouble. And we know what happens if we don't stop this, because it had been over 1,000 years or thousands of years, right? It's like, to me, I feel like Lord of the Rings is like a metaphor for the Bible. It's like a different version of it, and they're trying to show us the shadow and the light. You know, that's why I think some people are really drawn to it and why they understand like what that means. And even now with Inner Earth, and like we're like surface dwellers. There are inner earth. There are people above us and below us. There are people, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna have, like, the fear is what keeps you where you are, because you want to believe in magic and miracles, and you do, like, maybe when you're here or you go to certain places, but like when you're in your home where it's not so healthy, or when you're, you know, at your family's house where it doesn't feel healthy, or you're at your job where it doesn't feel healthy, Spirit's like, there's literally no other way for me to tell you but to get away from there. Get away from there. You work in a factory, you can just as well work in a yoga studio or somewhere that, you know, is at least a little more spiritual. You know, or work in, I mean, there's just so many different places. It's like, I've told you guys this for years. Go to the places that you love and see if they're hiring. Like I've been feeling lately like I want to do some type of job outside of the house, but I wasn't sure what or how or who, and so I said, if this is true, Spirit, like, you know, call me to it. Tell me how you want this to work out or whatever. Or do you just want me to amp up the readings, or what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? And I've been leaving it open. And as of right now, like, I even cast it, you know, as I'm talking to you now, like I cast it out into the stars yesterday, and I was like, okay, is this, you know, we'll see what happens, you know. But for you guys, it's like, what I'm trying to get at is that these kind of conversations have just been going on for too long. Right? So the strongest one from each tribe all went to one place and they met in the Lord of the Rings, right? Like the fellowship, and they became the Fellowship of the Ring. That was their name, that became their title. Because thousands of years before, they had done the same thing where everybody came together to fight off this darkness, to fight off this evil that wanted to take over the world. And they were like, no, you don't have a right to do that. And so they fought back, and they kept it at bay for years until it resurfaced. That's exactly what's happening right now. It's just like a resurface, right? A regeneration of something that's past, and we're here to put it to rest and put it to bed. Interesting that this shirt has different ways that you can wear it. It actually has like 4 different panels, so I could have like worn it like this way, but they had me wear it like this, and I think it's almost because, like, see how like the pattern didn't match up perfectly? And by the way, when I was a designer, I was so meticulous. That's why I did couture, which is like, means like one of a kind, because I would match it up. I wouldn't care if it took me one whole day just to match it up perfectly. I would. But this is like mass produced, right? But do you see how like these are almost mirroring each other, but not quite? It's like the shadow and the light have to be in balance. And when they're not in balance, it's like the shadow can easily take over, because it's a lot. Have you ever noticed that it's a lot easier to be mean than it is to be nice? Especially, I mean, I'm a naturally high vibrational energy, and a lot of you that are here are as well, right? But you know how, like, if you're having a bad day or you're not feeling well, you know, whatever it is, and you're just like, and it's just like, don't touch me, don't look at me, don't, you know what I mean? Like, I don't even want to be anywhere around you, right? That's part of our ego. That's kind of protecting us. That's like, like, I'm sensitive today. I'm not 100%. Spirit understands that we're not going to be 100% every day. We're here as humans. If you found yourself here, you're an angel, a light worker, a magician. You have magic. You might be all of the above, you know, but you are here to serve a purpose. And I feel like you've gotten too lost in the human part of you that wants to hold on to this person, place, or thing, or all of the above, because change is not easy for some, you know. And some of you are fixed signs, which it's a lot harder to change when that's like, but you chose that in this lifetime too, to overcome that. And now we are in full earth energy of Virgo. We're in Virgo season and we're in Virgo moon. So while we are in this energy, you know, and whenever you watch this, it's timeless. But sink into your earth energy before you watch these readings, because I don't know what they're going to say, but I do know that these two are pretty sensitive. This one's very straightforward. It's more matter of fact. They're like oracle cards, mantras, whatever. But these are like no joke. We're talking angels, we're talking, you know, saints, we're talking deities, God, goddesses, you know what I mean? It's the divine feminine. So it's every bit of the divine feminine embodied. And if you've made it this far and you don't know the name of this deck, I will give you a little hint that it's definitely angel messages. Okay? So maybe you need some. By the way, it's like, this keeps moving. I don't know if you guys hear it. Like, it's like creaking. And I feel like these are the ancestors kind of talking to you. That's so interesting. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to say? So the Stairway to Heaven part is really powerful because your main purpose here is to help guide people to their nirvana. You know, I remember one time one of my shamans said, you know, even if you just help one person, you made a difference. And that's true. And I know that if you found yourself here, you've made a difference already in probably hundreds, thousands, maybe millions of lives, right? Because you touch one person and they touch another person and they touch another person and so on and so on and so on and so on and so on, right? So whatever energies or entities that are stopping that flow for you, especially some of you that are super sensitives and you work in the public, if you're a super sensitive and you're working with the public like 3 to 5 times a week, maybe 6 days a week, that's like ever moving, ever changing, ever, you know what I mean? Like, that is really intense, especially for those of you who are in the medical field. You're not made for that. And you've allowed your ego to lie to you, to tell you that that's your place. Because it makes sense, right? It's like, we'll rationalize anything. And this is a mass message for everybody, but that was a particular message. And I don't know how many of you that's for, but there is definitely something going on that is holding you back. And so it's either a person telling you something, you know, because another thing too is, you know, people will manipulate and lie because they don't want you to go away, right? Like, you're not in sync with them. Otherwise it'd be a perfect mirror image, but you're not in sync with them. I love when they have me use my clothes as an example, right? Because it's the visual. You're not as in sync as you think you are. And it's old stuff that you're like, oh, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable. This is the thing I'm going to say to you right now. You have free will, and it's your free will to live the rest of your life any way you choose. And maybe you'll come into it in this lifetime, and maybe you won't. But I'm telling you from personal experience that being comfortable won't get you there. And if you've been following me and watching, you know, these readings from Spirit and myself for a long time, you know that it's not comfortable. I'm not saying you have to do what I'm doing. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm just saying, you know, that I had to be very uncomfortable for a very long time. Even like the whole thing I went through the last few years when we were, you know, home free, and then in that rent to buy situation, and then that fell through, and then, you know, and we're, you know, off grid, and being off grid for over 2 years. Well, now I have a little bit of electricity, but not much. I mean, I could have lamps and stuff, but I'm like, no, I don't really need them. I don't really use them. I can go and get a lamp if I want one, but I don't really need them because I use candles for everything. But that's me, right? But I feel like for some of you, you know who you are, you know what you need to do, and you just keep pretending and playing these fucking characters that are gone. They're over. They're done. And the true fellowship of the ring are the people that are like, okay, this is what we need to do. I know there's only, you know, so many of you, but like, this is where we need to at least start. Now we need to go and get more help. We need to go get armies. Like, let's go do this, you know? And that's what they do. They go and get help. They go and they're like, hey, this is what's happening. We don't know how far gone it is, but like, we know it's bad. So we need help. So would you just stay? Spirit's question to you is, basically, this is the question. Are you going to just stay in the house with this one person and stay at this job or whatever? Is that it? That's what you're going to do? Or are you going to finally step forward into your path, into your purpose, and take it seriously and see what's happening on the planet and stop taking a back seat and stop acting like you don't have a voice and push your fucking self forward. Because I'm telling you, these bitches are going to keep it real and the changes. You know, if you're not ready for that, don't go to this deck. If you want to find out how to make your life a little bit easier right now, then go to this one, right? Easy living. But there's still going to be some truths in there. And this one is about really, quote unquote, manning up, woman up, right? Pulling those bootstraps up and saying, all right, fuck it, man. Tell me what it is. Tell me what I got to do. And a lot of you already know what you have to do. And a lot of you know I've been saying this shit to you for so many years. And I love you, but I'm sick of fucking saying it. And if you think I'm being a dick right now, I'm sorry. You know I love you. It's just, literally, go to these other channels where people just have these fluffy fucking readings where they're like, ooh, who am I going to marry? Who am I going to, you know, where's my twin flame? Oh my gosh, I can't anymore. I can't. Because there's so much out there. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? So that's why some people have hundreds and millions of followers. Some are the real deal, and some of them are just there to, like, you know, keep feeding, spoon feeding, you know, the masses the bullshit, and they're going to stay in that, right? Because they're wolves in sheep's clothing. And I don't even want to say that because, but they are actually, because God's going to say wolves are teachers. So, but they are. And even for them, they know what they're doing too. At their core, they know what they're doing. Because people have to go through stuff, and everybody's at different levels of consciousness. So getting back to the dreams, they're saying, you know, some of you are like, let's say you know you're supposed to leave a certain job, right? And then you have a dream that you're at work and you meet somebody there that is like, oh my gosh, you're so awesome. Thank you so much. You changed my life. And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, see, I'm supposed to still be there. I'm supposed to still be there. Yeah, no, that's your ego. That's your ego feeding you, telling you how wonderful you are. Because there's the self-love where you're like, I'm awesome. I love myself, you know. But loving yourself means I'm not going to be in this situation that, like, it hurts me and I'm drained, and you know what I mean? Like, if you feel drained every time you go to work, or you feel drained when you're around people, you feel drained, you know, when you're at home with certain roommates because you're like, I can't. They just fucking, they suck all the fucking air out of the room, or, you know, they make everything about them, or they gaslight you, right? Where it's like, you know, they're not really there, but then, like, the second you're like, oh, I'm not really happy, they're like, oh, here's gifts, here's presents, or, oh, come on, let's go on a date. I'm sorry, I've been ignoring you, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's like they will continue to do that. And they're going to keep love bombing you and gaslighting you. And this could be family members. This could be children. Shadow comes in all forms, you guys. In all fucking forms. And it's your job to see through it. You know, I mean, I've been through so much of my own personal stuff this summer. So much. I spoke about it in the last reading, the New Moon and Virgo reading. I mean, just so much. And I'm unpacking even more. I mean, every day I'm unpacking more and more and more and more. Throat chakra. And cutting through the bullshit and realizing, like, you know, whenever I want to give in to something and say, oh, but it's really like this, or, oh, it's really like that, Spirit's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. So you have to use your own discernment for your situation. Basically, anything that flared up in your mind when we were talking, shadow and light, it's what you need to work with and work through. People, places, things, whatever it was. Because there's so many of you. So it's gonna be different. And I know some of you are like, I'm trying, Lula, I'm trying, but I don't want to hear that anymore. Because keep that to yourself. And I don't mean that in a shitty way. I'm saying, like, I know you are, or else you wouldn't still be here. But what I'm saying to you is there's trying and there's doing. Did you ever hear that old from Yoda? No, try, do, right? The trying stage is over. especially to my Sagittarius. Like all this Jupiter energy, it's like this is our time. This is our time. Everything. If you see there's things going around because we had it rough for a while because we needed to. When it was rough was the time for us to go through the dark night of the soul, to go through the shadow, to work through that. And now all the gifts and the abundance are here. We have to go after it though. It's not going to chase us. We have to go after it. Now, they say you shouldn't chase anything, and I'm not saying like chase after something that's like not coming back to you. I'm saying like if you love something, you keep doing it. You keep going after that dream. You don't give up. If it doesn't work this way, then try a different way. Or it could just be divine timing. And so many of us here are controlling. And why are we controlling? Because we were weird, because we were special. And we learned to control our environment and the people around us. We were also the manipulators, the love bombers, the gaslighters. Right? We recognize that in all of the people around us. That's why birds of a feather, right? Thank you, Billie Eilish. Like, I mean, I know it's been around forever, but I love that song, the timing of that song couldn't be more perfect. Birds of a feather, we stick together, right? Why do you think Kamala's numbers are going up? Because people are like, I don't give a fuck what you say about her. I don't give a fuck, blah, blah, blah. You've shown us who you are. And you can tell us, oh, I've changed, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, okay, you're also you got a lot of rich people who do not want us to stop. You know what I mean? They want us to keep feeding the fucking corporations. They want us to keep feeding the system. Why do you think they put people like Taylor Swift, you know, as a billionaire? People like Tyler Perry, people who can have control and have money too and are like, well, you can't fucking buy me. I have as much money as you, or I have more money than you. I mean, look at Oprah. Shit. Right? Like people who, it's like, it's flipped. In the America that was born here, the African American, they weren't billionaires. The billionaires that are here now fucking built those businesses. A lot of those businesses were built on the backs of people who came here as slaves. Not just from Africa, but from all over. The white man's been kidnapped as slaves too. We've all been slaves. But, you know, it's like this old patriarchal society. It's over. The Lord of the Rings is here to say, hey, you know what? We're here to do some fucking shit, man. We're here to bring the love and the light present. You cannot just stay in one little neck of the woods. You wouldn't be here otherwise. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, because my job is to wake up like the witches, to heal the healers, to like help you wake up and see that you're just like me. So doesn't that make you see that like the people, your friends, your family, your works and all that stuff? I told you, we've been talking about this. Spirit told you. I'm just the mouthpiece. I don't want to say I told you again. That sounds like my ego. But we've been talking about this for a long time because you have a big, broader spectrum to speak to than just your little corner. And not just that, because even, oh man, I don't know what that, I think that was a crane. I'm almost positive that was a crane. So look up crane spirit medicine. Wow. I saw the tail end of it, but they had long skinny legs. I'm almost positive that was a crane. Or a heron. It was either a heron or a crane. So whichever, blue heron or crane. I don't know if they're in the same, I think they're in the same family, but. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to research that spirit medicine on your own if it resonated with you. But the fact that it flew like right in front of I've been looking outside the whole time. And they're not gonna, I can look in my book right now, but they're not having me look it up. Because I know they're in there. You know, you feel me, you hear me, you know. You're meant to go on a grander scale. And even if you do have a YouTube channel or Instagram or Facebook or any of these TikToks or any of these social media outward programs, you know, or these social media systems that you have out there, even if you have them and they're doing well and you're spreading the message and you feel good about yourself, it's kind of like if you really, like right now I'm following this vegan chef who I'm getting all these amazing recipes from. They've been inspiring me. I'm so excited, you know, to work with food this fall. So to bake more and cook more and stuff like that. But anyway, but if I found out, I'm going to be honest, if I found out that she wasn't a vegan and she's been toting herself as this like, oh, I'm healthy and I'm a vegan, but then I found out that like she was actually like eating meat and you know what I mean? Like I probably would not follow her. I'd keep the recipes for myself if I liked them or whatever, but I wouldn't follow them anymore because I'd be like, she's fake. And why is she being like that? Just fucking say, I'm a chef, but I customize and vegan, but don't tote yourself as I've been a vegan for this many years and blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. It's the same for you. It's like if you're putting all this stuff out there, but then your home life and like your everyday life and your people, and you're still dealing with the same stuff and you're still going through the same things. Those people, places, and things may change in your lifetime, but they're not changing right now, and they're not changing anytime soon. And the only thing that will change is you pulling yourself away from that. Maybe you're not ready to stop talking to them forever. That's fine. But you need to at least like pull yourself away. And if there's some people who are in your daily orbit or a job that's like just literally like bleeding you dry, stop torturing yourself. Stop staying in this. This is your huge, huge message. Like this is your sign that it's time to let it go. You know, it's like you're being like Gollum, my precious, right? Like the Fellowship of the Ring. You know what's so interesting is this ring was gifted to me. I used to work with a bunch of these beautiful women, and we all were different levels of spirituality. It was an organic clothing store. And when this person was leaving, her name was Blair, she gifted me this ring. And when she told me that it was her grandmother's, told me the whole story, I'm like, I'm not taking that. I'm like, I literally was like, I'm not taking that. And she goes, no, don't you get it? She's like, that's how special you are to me. And she's like, they'd want you to have it. And they're super witchy. And I mean, she's like one of those people I hope our paths cross someday. But this just, I forgot it was even in my stuff. And Spirit wanted me to wear it today, to remind me of that beautiful group of women, that divine feminine, and how strong I was when I was working with that group of women. Because a lot of you that are having your battles, it's because you're in a very divine masculine run world, whether it's your home life, your work life, your family, all of the above. I had a recent meltdown in a public place, and I was surrounded by men. It was so interesting. And the only one that came to talk to me was the person that worked there, because it happened after I broke my water and the glass went everywhere. And I was like, oh my gosh, because I saw, you know, I'm right by the water. It was right by the water, you know, and I saw people kind of walking around. It's a very transient area. I'll just say it like that. I don't know if they like home free. I know there's some people that do not like the term homeless, so I don't want to say that, but you get where I'm going with that. So I was like really upset. That was my first reaction, was like, oh my gosh, it's glass, we have to pick it up. But then as we started to pick it up, I was like, I just started to cry because I just had the worst day, and my partner and I were just like breaking up, and I was just like feeling so like sad, and he was like, it's okay. You know, he was like, it's okay. But I could tell they were all kind of looking at me like, what's going on with her, you know? And interestingly enough, I ended up having conversations with a lot of them, you know, afterward. So, you know, I get what's happening, right? Like the divine masculine needs us. It needs our divine feminine right now. But for some of you, you're buried in the shadow of your own divine masculine, and the divine masculines around you who are not, that's Bubba, that are not allowing you to be who you are. And they're not allowing you to be like your full version of yourself. And this could be a woman in your life, but it's very, very masculine. It could be a mother figure, but like she is like in shadow. That's why I feel like this pastel reflection is like, I feel like there's a lot that's going to be going on here. Okay, so are there any more messages, Spirit? The last thing they want to say is, so enough of the harping. You know, I put out the harpy lately, and the harpy, right? But the harpies are there for a reason, because they're just like, no more bullshit. Right? The harpies, you know, the legend of the harpy is that, you know, some looked at them as like, that they were like these gross, ugly, bird-like creatures, these women who, you know, they were just like trying to control or whatever. But basically the harpies were basically Kalima or karma. It's like they're just like another version of that. When shit ain't right, they come in and fucking set it straight. So you may even want to work with the harpy spirit energy and ask the harpies to come in, and maybe there's something in your life that needs to be illuminated. That was mine. Now that was me. That was my bones cracking. Because you know what? I love where I live in the Pacific Northwest, but autumn came really early for us. Like autumn started probably like 3 weeks ago. So in real time it's September 3rd, but it was full on autumn. Like everything started turning about 3 weeks ago. And we've been having these very like cold, damp, foggy mornings. And if you know anything about the Pacific Northwest, it's very damp. It's kind of like the UK, you know, in that, or, you know, in Ireland, like that whole Scotland, you know, England, the UK. Well, some people don't like that either. So I'm like, I don't want to offend people. Plus we have Northern and Southern Hemisphere people. So I always try to keep us all in the same, you know, light, I guess. So anyway, that wasn't easy, and I love you. Just know that I love you. But yeah, it really is time. Those places, it's your past. Don't concern yourself about whether or not these people are going to be in your future. I really, honestly, genuinely, with all of my heart, thought I would see and talk to my mom at least one more time. But the last time I like hugged her and said goodbye, it was, even that was, there was a part of me that knew that might be the last time I ever touched her, like physically. But interesting that things got messed up with her flight, and she was so like stressed out. Instead of just like being calm and like whatever, she was so freaked out and stressed out that like it wasn't even like a long goodbye. It was like, okay, bye. It was like a hug and I love you and bye, and then she was it, and she was off to the races. So, you know, and then I remember one time I said, when I knew I had to like say goodbye to my family, I had said to my partner, I was like, do you think I'm ever going to talk to my mom again in this lifetime? And he's like, no. And I was like, holy shit. I'm like, I know you're right. I know you're right. And I like started crying because I was just like, I knew he was right. Like I knew he was right. And it was like gut wrenching. I just noticed I matched my calendar. Except for these are tulips, and these like look more like a wildflower. But I feel like somebody wanted to see these tulips. Also, I didn't even like realize I bought this from like a little like local store. I just got like, I used to get the big calendars. Now I just get the small ones. But this I didn't realize was biblical until I read it today. And it says, God is our refuge. We will not fear, though the earth give way. The nations rage, kingdoms fall. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46. Isn't that interesting? And 46 is also 10. And what's 10? Completion, take away the 0, and 1, new beginning. So, you know, kingdoms, it's like, that's why I feel like we've been raised and bred and born to believe that there's like some wrath of God that's going to come down. But really all it is that we're just showing, it's like the more love that we show to people, the more compassion. Because, you know, the other thing too is you're not doing these people any favors. They're not going to change in your presence, or else they would have by now. And that should speak to your ego, right? And not in like a kick in the teeth in the face to your ego, but like a reality to your soul, like your soul and your ego coming together saying, oh, I see what you mean, right? That's why my husband and I, we broke up so many times and got back together. I mean, even now it's like we're working through it again. But I can't say for certain that we won't ever have another separation again. Even now, we're staying physically separated because right now we it's not that we don't want to live together. It's that we can't live together right now. But we love each other, and we know that we love each other, and we want to work our way through it. Is this the 7 stages of death and we're going to break up eventually? I hope not, but it could be. And I'm not manifesting the love. I am. I'm putting in the energy, but I'm also not giving like everything to my relationship like I was before. You know, I know that I need to work on this, and with you guys, like I know I need to be here right now. This is my job, just like he's working on his path right now. And it killed me and gutted me when I was like, you know, do you want to look for a place together, or do you want to, he's like, I'm happy living the way I am right now. He's like, but if you know, he's like, I want you to look for a place for you. And if it like aligns and like I end up moving in, he's like, that's cool. He's like, but you know, he's really happy with his situation right now. So I'm like, I go, well, yeah, wait till winter. Like we kind of joked about it. And maybe that's true, but I don't know. Because if I'm like in a little studio or a small little space, you know, he may have to seek out his own on his own. I don't know what's going to happen. But I know that we needed to separate, because he needs to continue, you know, we're in different places and he's still working through a lot of his shadow in the dark night of the soul. And I'm at the end of it. If not, I feel like I'm done with it now. I feel like for me, my mom's death was like a puzzle piece. Like, ooh, when I looked down, it was an hour and 13 seconds. Wow, that's crazy. Or whatever that, it was at 106. Maybe, I think it was an hour and 13 seconds. Oh, you know, because my mom was October 13th and I'm December 13th. And, you know, the divine feminine, the number 13 is the representation. Why do you think 13, they don't have the number 13 in a lot of things? And the patriarchal, the divine masculine was like, oh, 13 is bad. You know what I mean? They want it to be bad because they don't want the divine feminine to be here. Hold on, I want to see. Hold on one second. Okay, I just want to make sure. I thought I heard power tools, and today's the 3rd. And so, you know, it was just Labor Day, and I had messaged our landlord early and said, you know, at the beginning of the weekend, was like, hey, rent's here if you want to come and get it, because he lives about an hour away. And so he was like, thank you, but we haven't seen him. And so sometimes, you know, I had my phone in airplane mode, so I was like, he may show up, and because he lives an hour away, I always want to make sure I get it to him, because he's so polite, he would never bother me. That's why we've got a dream landlord. Honestly, if this spot was in a different situation, we would stay here as long as he'd let us, because we really like him and he likes us, and it's a really great situation. But it's not where we're meant to be, at least for now. I mean, the only way we would stay here is if we got a better situation for a tiny home, because ours is just, we don't want to put any more work into it. Like, we're like looking for something else. But we have had a schoolie came into our orbit recently. Like, we've had a lot of things that have come into our orbit recently, but we're like, do we want to do a build out right now? You know what I mean? So I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So those are your messages. I am going to pause this, and then I'm going to start. I don't know. I'm assuming they're going to have me go this way to this way. I feel like that, because I said 1, 2, and 3. So I'm pretty sure it's going to go this way. So I'm just going to say yes. So we're going to start here and we're going to end here. So feel free to either keep watching through, or you can just go to the one that you're most drawn to, and just know that I love you and spirit loves you. And you know, it's like, it's just the fucking medicine. It's like when you go to the doctor and you're like, or you don't want to go to the doctor, right? Like, you're like me, or you're more natural, you're more of a naturalist and whatever, right? But at the same time, you're like, I don't know. You know what I mean? You're like, I don't really want to go, like, because you don't want to go, but you need to go, right? Like, if you mend a bone, you got to fucking put it in a cast so it can heal. You got to stop moving and slow down, right? Also, in real time, it's self-care September too, right? So I'm hearing that from spirit. It's almost like you keep limping through these relationships or these jobs or these homes or these places with like a broken arm, but you're not like setting the cast to fix it and move on. It's like you're just living with like this broken wound, and they're saying, you know, and that's why it's, ooh, my ears are ringing. It's going to be different for all of you, you know, as you move through each cycle. So this is just a huge wake-up call that, you know, this time on earth, this energy that we've been given is very rare. And even though it's going to get more beautiful and loving and positive, like, you can always change. Like, there's only a certain amounts of, you know, like, this particular energy won't be here again for a long time, in terms of like the good fortune and, you know, and the dragons and all that. So you know, you're making your fortune as you go, but you can't like make your fortune if you're, you know, you can't work with a broken arm. All right, that's it. All right, I'm done. Whew, I love you guys so much. I'm going to take a little break, and I will see you at this reading. Until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. All of my information is on this channel if you would like to work with me, or if you'd like to contribute to the work on this channel. And I'll see you over at your readings. I love you. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 1. And if my eyes don't deceive me, I believe it said 10417. And if that's the case, because I don't have my glasses on, but if that's the case, that's the number 13, which is the number of the Divine Feminine. They had me stop the other reading. Anyway, it's all connected. It's like, even though I know, like, this is what I am and this is what I do, it's still, I still have moments myself where I'm just like, it's just so beautiful, you know? Also, if you were in the group reading, you noticed that I wasn't wearing this ring, but they had me put some turquoise on. So you may want to work with turquoise to connect to your heart and your heart chakra, your love center, your soul center. So we're just going to dive in. When I was putting this together, Buddha wanted to come in, and so I thought that was really profound as well. So I don't know if that's for some of you, if you were raised Buddhist, or I don't know, but I will say this. Okay, I feel like I'm levitating, so can you just, if you're in a safe space where you can do so, can you just close your eyes for a second? Connecting with the energies of reading 1 of the Divine Feminine Oracle. We call in all the Divine Feminine energies that want to speak with us today. Thank you, Buddha. Wow. Thank you all. Thank you. You honor me with your presence. You honor all of us with your presence, your energy. Thank you so much. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. And thank you, reading 1, for being here. You got this. My warrior goddesses. Oh, okay. So Buddha was saying that he wants you to remember that Buddha was a warrior, and he may not have been the kind of warrior. I feel like for some of you, you're a warrior of love, and you feel that, and you know that about yourself. Spirit's just trying to help you get to the place you need to be. I think there's like a butterfly or a moth or dragons or something around here. I think it's dragons. Yeah, so, oh yeah, it's dragons. I didn't mean to be so slight with the dragons. It's just that the dragons didn't come forth. You know what I mean? Like I felt them when they pushed my fingers away, but there's, I think there's butterflies on here too. Yeah. See how there's butterflies? This is you. These messages are for you. Okay. So, I'm feeling a lot of tears, and I'm hearing good, cry. Like, that's what you need right now. I feel like all of the Divine Feminine, right? Like, we need a really good cry right now. And so do the Divine. Oh, I got to be careful. This is a very sweet little vintage coat. Sometimes I move around like I'm not. Sometimes I think they have me put this on just to keep me more like this, so I'm not as fidgety. But it's because I can feel the energies. I can feel the entities coming through. You know, I'm an empath, so I feel so much. And I feel like that's what they're trying to say about you too, right? Like, you feel so much. You get easily distracted as well, right? You want to control things. You want to, you know, I feel like for some of you, maybe you had a very controlling Divine Feminine in your life. Mother, I feel like a mother, grandmother figure. I also am getting that this figure, this Divine Feminine, interesting that the big chunk of pyrite didn't want to come in, but this little piece did. I have a bigger chunk, but I feel like they're the kind of people that will, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember. Spirit was trying to give me this phrase I've never heard of, and I don't understand it, but it's coming through in another language, and I'm trying to have them decipher it. It's like they're kind of like in a council over here, and I'm like, so they just gave me this explanation instead. We had a situation, my partner and I, where this person that we were dealing with, it was just like it was just ridiculous the way that they were allocating their money. And it made me realize, like, that's what nouveau riche can do to you. Nouveau riche, which they say is like, it's like kind of a shitty way of saying like a new rich person. Like a lot of people who didn't have money but then have money don't have the class or the tact or the, you know, the class from the upbringing, right? If you've ever seen the movie Titanic, Molly Brown is like a perfect example, played by Kathy Bates beautifully, where, you know, she wasn't raised with money, but her husband, I think, strikes oil or something, and they become really rich. So she's allowed in proper society because of her money. They want her money there, right? But they don't really want to deal with her. So like they always avoid her, you know, kind of thing. And I feel like you have that kind of, there's somebody in this group that has that kind of mentality that they were raised with, that they weren't really poor, right? They had more money, but they only showed this, right? Like, let's say that, because I brought this in as like a representation of the heart chakra, but it's like, it's almost like, here's heart chakra, like here's heart chakra energy, here's money energy. But for some reason, it's like they're not aligning. It's like they're repelling each other. Does that make sense to you guys? Because I hope this makes sense to you, because I'm like, what? But you know, it's not about me, it's about you. So, but the only thing I can kind of grasp from that, what they're trying to say, if you don't understand, for some of you, you probably know exactly, you understand it, right? But what I'm getting is like, it's like money's chasing you, and it's like all you have to do is like turn around and reveal your heart chakra to the world, reveal your beautiful heart to the world, and the money will just flow over you. Instead, you're like, for some of you, it's like, I feel like you're hiding your gifts away, you're hiding who you are away, because you've been hurt before. Like the tiger's eye kept getting slippery. It's very slippery, right? But it did not want, like, it doesn't want to stay. It doesn't want to be, but it's like the tiger eye, the warrior, the soul warrior in you is just like, yes, like, I got you. You're protected. I've got labradorite over here. You're protected. We've got graphite. Graphite's like, get grounded, get grounded, get grounded. We've got lapis lazuli that's trying to connect you to your third eye, right? And even now, look, the money fell behind, because you're looking everywhere else for money, but you have so much to give and bring and shine for the world, and you're holding back. The world wants to see you. The world wants to hear you. Not just pictures up on a screen, or, you know what I mean? Like, I'm hearing for some of you, or it could be that, like, maybe you're working in a place where you're hiding, and they're like, no, but what if you were in a place that you really loved? Like, what's your passion? Do you love books? Work in a bookstore. You know, if you don't want to be around people, you know, it's like, you do what you're supposed to do. I feel like for some of you, I keep hearing YouTube channel. So Isis wanted to come in. So work with Isis and the crystals that I threw out. Bloodstone is also here, and a Lemurian crystal. But again, it's like only if it feels right. I feel like some of you need to get these downloads right now. Oh, did you see those wings in there? I see so much. A lot of cool scrying going on. I know that I don't have the strongest camera, but it's not about that. The messages are embedded. You'll get them if you're meant to. And maybe this is just a reminder. I feel like they may call me to do a shorts on this. Do you see the heart in there? It's so powerful, okay? So there's a lot of messages coming through. You know, somebody recently wrote on one of my posts, I want the drug Xuron or something like that, and it made me laugh. Because I'm like, yeah, because if those who don't believe in the magic will never see it. Somebody else might be like, what the fuck are we looking at? You know what I mean? But those of you who understand, understand. And I feel like that's what they're trying to tell you, is that you have this beautiful, grand, magical life right in front of you, but you're not allowing the divine feminine energy to like penetrate and permeate your heart and your mind and your body and your soul. It's like you forgot who you are. You know, I don't know for sure. I always say, don't quote me, I don't know for sure, but if I had to guess, I'd say you guys are angels. I would say every one of you, you're definitely angels or light workers, right? And I hear muses too. So some of you, this is the thing that can be confusing, right? Because there's a lot of people watching the same reading, but some of you are going to function better like me, like this, where I'm like away from people. I'm not near people. I'm working, even though I'm doing these readings for you guys, and there's so many of you here, I can feel you, but it's like when I'm done with this, I will, you know, close the portals, I will do all that, and then I will rest for the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Like, And then I probably won't do another reading like this for a few days. Because some people, you know, I'm like, yeah, they put out readings every day because it's like an hour or 2 hours. Or some people record 2 or 3 readings a day, but they put out readings every day. Everybody has their own system in their own way. As of right now, this is all they're having me do. And I think it's because we can get very inundated with outside information and outside resources. You know, right now what they want us to do is flow as much as we can in divine timing and just keep moving forward every single day. I've been getting to the point recently where I'm like, oh, it was a really good day today. I'm like, that's a really good day. And if it's not the best day, I don't go, oh, that was a really bad day. I'll just be like, that's cool. I learned a lot today, or that happened, or whatever. I wonder what's going to happen, you know, tomorrow. You know, like, I don't really get into it anymore because I'm realizing, like, it's just a waste of energy. I don't want to be in the past anymore because it's over and it's a waste of energy. You know, I could wallow and dwell in all pain and suffering, or I can just go, you know what? I'm a really happy person. I love myself and I love everybody. And there'll be some days that I'll watch a movie, hear a song, see a picture, remind me of somebody, and I'll cry. And I'll release more of that pain and suffering. But for now, right now, I feel like when I'm feeling fidgety, I feel like you guys are feeling fidgety. So get calm, get focused, because we're about to get some messages from the Divine Feminine. They don't play. And I need to be able to stay calm and centered. You know, I said this in the group reading, and I'm going to say it again. You know, I always tell you guys, you are more than welcome to be here. Always. But if your energy is off and imbalanced, you shouldn't be here. Because it means you're searching for answers and something that you need to find within yourself. You know, go for a walk, take a breather, take a bath, take a shower, get relaxed, and then come back and watch this reading. Because we're all so powerful here that whenever 2 or more gather, it's like your higher self's energy is showing me where you are. So they're having me mirror back to you that you need to relax and calm down. Self-care September, you know, especially for the Northern Hemisphere. We've been going. Very busy summer. It's an election year in the United States. Like all these things, right? And of course that affects everywhere because there's elections in other places as well. Not to mention that obviously we all, you know, there's the internet. And so with that knowledge, with those tools, comes great responsibility. And this card is like pushing itself out. So the first one that wants to talk to us is Queen Esther. Queen Esther. I gotta find my little glasses here. You guys can look at Queen Esther. This is one of my favorite cards. I think the last time we used this deck, but she wants to come out again. The Morning Star. My ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. My ego is in service of my soul. Do you get that? Instead of your soul being in service to your ego. That's what I've been trying to say to you guys about what's going on right now with the universe, and why I've been really, why Spirit and through me have been telling you that you have to get out of where you are. Because if you're watching this, you're part of this soul tribe, and we are here to change and uplift and revitalize this planet and this energy. So by staying in places that are in a lower vibration, alcohol, drugs, addiction, by staying in that low vibrational energy, you're only, it's like you're a slave to that energy, to that person, to that old life. Instead of allowing yourself to step fully into who you are, who you were brought here to be. If you didn't watch the group reading, that's okay, but maybe at some point you might want to go back and watch it, because we spoke so much of this that, like, when it was done, I had to take a breather and be like, Spirit, like, you know, like, because it hurts my heart. I love you guys. You're my family. Who wants to fucking, you know, who wants to be the bearer of bad news? Who wants to say, hey man, you got to break up with that person. Hey man, I wouldn't do that if I were you. you know, but at the same time, you have to come to your own conclusion, just like they said, divine timing, divine timing. And I trust my soul's divine timing. So that's the question. Do you? Do you trust your soul? Because if you did, you'd be listening. Because there's no greater time than the present. Now, again, I don't know. I mean, maybe you are supposed to like hold someone's hand for another 6 months. You know, maybe you're not supposed to reap your benefits. I don't know. Maybe your karma is, you know, different. Maybe, you know, I mean, maybe, you know what I mean? I don't know. All I know is I'm the messenger, and it's my job to be the messenger and to say, like, this is the energy, this is the entity that is speaking to you right now. You know, they're telling you, hold on. I feel like there's another deity that wants to come through. Do you want me to read from the book, Spirit? They may want me to read from the book. So, Queen Esther. I'm going to pause it for a second. Okay, so this is interesting. They led me to the dedication in the book, and I have to read this to you because I feel like this is for somebody. For my great-grandmother, Big Margie, and my mother, Margie, for the lineage of love I was born into because of you, for your rebel hearts and your free souls, thank you. I feel like this is a message to somebody that, like, you come from a long line of witches, because do you know that when I first read it, I was trying to go to Queen Esther, but when I first read it, I saw big magic. I literally did not see Margie until I looked closer at it. And I was like, I saw my mother Margie, and then I'm like, oh wait, was that Margie? And then magic turned back into Margie. You know, Spirit does that with me to give you that message. So this may be just for one person, but I feel like you're either at a job or around people or a spouse or somebody, like somebody's keeping you back from your magic. And this is your ancestors, your great grandmother and your mother talking to you that have passed. I feel like they have both passed. So, and I feel like they're kind of, it's almost like they're like, not, well, yeah, they are. They're crying. They're like trying to show you, like, just like that their hearts are crying, like that they're sad. Because I'm starting to get emotional. Just because you're worth like 100 of this situation that you're in, and you think that it's like, but you're allowing. Oh, they wanted me to show you that. See how like just a little bit of the fabric was showing? It's like this is all darkness. And it's like there's just that little bit of your light. And they're like, yeah, but your light needs to shine for everybody, right? Oh man, yeah, I feel like for some of you, like somebody's keeping you really small. So it's either your work or a significant other or friendships. You know, I also feel like somebody, you have a friend that you think is your friend, but they're more like a frenemy. They're jealous. I hate even using these words. I don't even use the word hate. Wow, that just came out. That's interesting. It's just, I'm not a fan. Okay, I'm not a fan of this energy that I'm speaking of. It's dark. It's not fun. Yeah, there's a lot around you, and they're trying to tell you that you know this. Like your intuition is telling you that you're surrounded by and shrouded by this darkness, but like there's just something inside of you. It's your self-confidence, your self-loathing, like you're not loving yourself. Or it's like you've loved yourself too much and you're in some ego sphere where you're like, oh no, I'm going to break through this. And they're like, listen, sweetie, like nothing's going to change these people but these people. I mean, think about it. You're really powerful and you're surrounding yourself with really powerful people. So if they're as powerful as you, yeah, they have gifts like you, but if they're not opening up or waking up to their gifts, they're just challenging you, but it's just going to keep being the challenge. They're not just going to wake up overnight and like change. And even if they did, they would still have a long road ahead of them, and they need to do it on their own, not with you. And you are, it's almost like, and for some of you, I feel like you mother people like at your job, or like you're just drained all the time, or you're mothering people like in your relationships, you know, and they're like, no more. Like, I'm literally getting this, like, mommy, 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 but like in a little bratty way, and you're just allowing that behavior to take place. And even if they're not like physically, like outwardly doing that, that's the energy I'm getting, that it's like, gimme, 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 mine, me, just keep giving to me, and you're just giving them. But it's like, they're like, fine, if you're gonna stay there, then give them divine feminine. And, you know, and push back and be the dragon, right? Like, the dragons came in for a reason. Like, and be the dragon and push back and say, no. You know, you can be as loving as Buddha, but still, you know, the shadow of the dragons don't have ego. The shadow of the dragon is, oh, I love that. You can't even believe how, I mean, that's pure jade, by the way. And it's old. That when eBay first started, I bought that from this guy in China in eBay. Now, what I got for it then, I mean, I could probably auction, or could get so much for this, but I wouldn't. It's worth its weight in, but it's such a precious piece, and it rarely comes in. But I mean, we're talking about Buddha here. You have Buddha energy. You're this beacon of light, like Queen Esther, you know? Yet you've got this person. Oh, and it's on page 146, which is also 11. Oh man, it's, you know what it is? It's my ego, and it's my, like, I just want to punch him a little bit. Just because I love you, you know? And so it's like, it's my triple sad, you know? We go for the fucking underdog. We can't help it. We always go for the little guy. And I love you, right? So it's like, I love you, and I love them too, but like, I love you more, you know? And I know that sounds mean, but like, I mean, I love them the same, but I'm saying, like, I want you to succeed. Spirit wants you to succeed. You came here to succeed. You didn't come here to fucking live that. It's like, you're here for your own story and your own show, but you're playing a supporting character in your own fucking movie. But you're the supporting character in their movie, and they're the lead. Except for it's just this, like, really sad, like, leaving Las Vegas kind of energy. If you don't know the movie, research it. I don't even know if you'd want to watch it if you're an empath and you haven't. It's so, but it's just about these addicts. I mean, it's like Sid and Nancy kind of energy, right? Like, because it's like you're addicted to taking care of them, and they're addicted to you taking care of them. And like, you know, it's just like this thing, this Florence Nightingale. And you probably were together in another life. You probably are twin flames or soulmates or whatever. But, you know, this is the honest to God truth. Not every twin flame relationship is meant to actually stay together in this lifetime. Sometimes they're just there to grow you and shape you and stretch you and grow you, like, right? Like, I'll end it with grow again, because, and then that's it. And then you move on. Not every twin flame relationship is going to stay together this entire, you know. So what if, Spirit's saying, what if you just went and lived your life for you for a while and said, hey, I can't talk to you for X amount of time because I'm going to go over here and I'm going to take care of myself. You're going to go and take care of yourself. You know, and say, you either will hear from me or you won't. And they can either accept that or they don't. You're allowed to make your own rules. They can say, well, fuck off. I'm not going to comply with that. Or they'll say, I love you and I believe our love is true and you will hear from me. That's the response you want. Because the first one is a child and is a fucking narcissist and somebody who's like, me, all about me. Enough about me. What do you think of me? Right? Like, that is not for you. You are this beacon of, see how you're in shadow? They're like, no, you need to be up here where everybody fucking sees you. And you're hiding yourself. You can still do this, and look at, I'm not showing my face. Now, of course I show my face and other things so you guys know what I look like. But they had me start doing these kind of readings for a reason, because it's not about that. I was raised by 2 Italian families. Although my mom laughs when people would say that. They're like, you're around the Indovinas and the Martinos too long. And my mom's like, she always talked with her hands like that. So, but anyway, I think it's because I think I was Italian in another life. But anyway, I digress. From my Italians, you know what I'm talking about. But you know, it's like, my hands are as expressive as my face. Right? Because you have to bring laughter into the situation. But this is where you're going to find your gold, through your heart chakra. And the only way to do that is through true, blunt, force fucking honesty. And you can do it through loving ways, you know, but there's the, you know, I know over my lifetime people have said, gosh, you could be a little bit nicer. I'm like, I know, I have been nice. You know, I'm like, that's the thing is like, I'll be nice for a while, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, I get to a point where I'm like, nice isn't working for you. So I've got to be blunt. And I feel like this is what's happened with this reading. You know, this is very serious shit. We're climbing the stairway to heaven. Like we're elevating the energy. We need you. We need you to release and let go of the past and these people and these things so that you can rise into your high vibrational light. We need your push pin. Not to mention your knowledge, your wisdom, your love. You have the most beautiful heart. That's what the Divine Feminine is reminding you of. That is what's going to bring everything back. And these people who you're fighting so hard to keep in your life, I promise you, when you let go of them, the other people like you will come into your life. And that's how we help people. You know, it's kind of like right now, it's like we've got push pins all over the place, but you're noticing like more communities are coming together here and more communities are coming together here. And, you know, and the darker energies are starting to go more clumped together. But then you see like, but there's a lot of light on either side, because eventually they're gonna either die that way or they're gonna see that it's just better to be in a loving energy. Like who wants wars? Nobody really wants that. Nobody really wants to eat food that's killing them. Nobody really wants to put on lotion that's burning their fucking skin and turning it to cancer. You know what I mean? We're realizing now, like, this is like rubbish. It's ridiculous. It's so silly. And it's the same thing. Spirit's saying, like, staying in these past things, it's like you're above this. You're more emotionally intelligent than you give yourself credit for. You can still be connected to your heart and your heart chakra, right? Turquoise. It's all about love and connecting to your heart and your heart chakra. That's why I wore it on this finger, you know? And that's why I have the pointy coming towards you, because I want you to have the love. I'm bringing you love. I'm sending you love. Spirit wants you to feel the love. Embrace the love within. The best way to love yourself is to go quiet and silent. Get away from the noise and the loud. I had people who, you know, I loved them so much, but when I got sober, I couldn't be around them. Like in the beginning, it would be fun, but like if they'd start to drink, it's like I would smoke weed, and I'm like, yeah, I don't care if you drink in front of me. I have pancreatitis, like I can't drink, it'll kill me, you know. And that's what I had to do. I had to give myself a disease, a drinking disease, as they called it, so that I wouldn't drink again. And so the more they would drink, the more I realized that cannabis and alcohol, the more someone drinks, I don't even care if they're a happy drunk. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't want to be around you, dude. You know what I mean? I'm like, nope, I'm sorry. I love you, but no. I mean, I had this guy recently. He was this really amazing artist, but I was like, I smelled him like 5 faces. I was like, oh, dude. I was like, no. Like, I barely could like have a conversation. Even though they were like amazing and I could probably talk to them forever, I was like, I'd have to talk to you from like literally 10 feet away. Because I'm like, I couldn't handle it. It was in their pores. It was in their, you know, I don't judge it. I just don't want to be around it. It's like smelled so toxic to me. I could feel how toxic their energy was, how toxic. And that is pure toxicity. Even if you're somebody who just partakes in a little bit of alcohol, you know that, you know, if you don't drink water or you don't have food, even one glass of champagne can give you a pounding headache the next day. One glass. You know, it's about knowing what you can and can't handle. And Spirit's saying, you know you cannot handle these energies, so stop torturing yourself with these energies. Okay, so Queen Esther, the morning star. Esther represents the powerful combination of feminine intuition and divine timing. Esther was a Hebrew orphan born with the name Hadassah, I believe, raised by her cousin Mordecai. She lived with the Jewish community in exile in Persia during the 5th century BCE. Mordecai became aware of a plot against the Jewish people created by the king's chief minister, Haman. Using her brilliance and her intuition, Esther came up with a plan to save her cousin and her people. Her beauty had caught the attention of the king, So when his current wife, Vashti, refused to come to him when called, Esther seized the moment, and the king chose her to be his wife. Then Esther didn't wait for the king to call her. She prepared a large banquet and then called for him. Once he was fully in love with her, she revealed that she was a Jew and that Haman had plotted to kill her people. The book of Esther in the Tanakh, I don't know if I'm saying that properly, or the Hebrew scriptures, is known as the scroll or the Megillah. Again, I apologize if I'm mispronouncing. It is read twice out loud, once in the morning and in the evening. During the festival of Purim, to celebrate the memory of Esther's brave actions, her name is derived from the word meaning bright star or morning and evening star. This is the name she grew into when she courageously trusted her intuition and used its divine timing to save herself and her people. Okay, so interesting. I think Purim, it's either just took place, is taking place, or coming up, because I'm almost positive it's this time of year. So you may want to, some people really like religious or cultural practices, like witches, and you don't have to be necessarily Jewish to practice or be in a strict Hasidic Jew, you don't have to. If you are called to that, then that's fine. It wasn't about, man-made religion into, the controlling and the money and all that kind of thing. But it was put here for us to gather together as community, to celebrate life, to celebrate the planet, to celebrate, nature, life, God, goddess, divine, feminine, masculine. You know what I mean? Like, that's why all these things are put here to, we have the harvest, so we're grateful, right? We're grateful for, all the food because, winter's coming and we can't grow things in the winter, right? In certain places in the world. So I'm hearing this is a call for some of you to really tap into that side of you. So it says, when your soul selects Queen Esther, the ego has a timetable that the soul could not care less about. When we are feeling stressed or threatened in some way, fear can be exceptionally loud and can inform the ego to work overtime and trying to get something accomplished or to manipulate something to happen. The natural flow of energy that's always at work behind the scenes, the universe's capacity to assist us, then gets blocked. So I had a hard time reading that sentence because I feel like for some of you, you don't even realize it, but you're doing dark magic on people around you. Like, I can fix this. I can make this better. I know they're going to, our love is so great. I don't care if it's the best sex of your life. You have to walk away from it. Don't get blinded by human pleasures. Don't get blinded by ego. Don't get blinded by, right, this control of because a lot of that is coming from you couldn't control your childhood. You couldn't fix your parents. You couldn't fix this. Maybe I'm just not slighting it, but maybe you were molested or raped or, you know what I mean? And now you're with somebody who's like the abuser and you don't realize that you're going through this pattern. I mean, they had me speak about this for a reason. We're all working with our inner child trauma right now, and it comes from multiple levels. Maybe you don't even know that someone touched you inappropriately when you were tiny, but you just have this weird, don't touch me there. You know what I mean? There's something in there to be healed. And Queen Esther, I just got the chills. So Queen Esther is here to say, call on her, call on the divine feminine energy, call on Mother Mary, call on a very mothering, loving figure to come in and work with you, okay? Oh, my throat chakra is really tight. It's almost like you're afraid, but they're saying that's what's going to break you through, though. That fear that you have is whatever you're fearing is what you have to face to get to the other side. And until you face that, your life will be like this. And you're saying right now, maybe it's okay, but I guarantee you over time it won't be. So I guess when you're ready, you'll figure it out. But it says, I'm going to read this again. The natural flow of energy that's always at work behind the scenes, the universe's capacity to assist us, then gets blocked, right? If we're trying to manipulate something or trying to, what an ego to think that we know better than divine timing. So it says, when we are in service of love, we are following the dictates of our soul. And when the ego is in service of the soul, divine timing ensues. Esther mastered this art, even under extreme duress. She listened wisely to her soul. She became a queen by letting her love for her people inform her feminine intuitive powers. This is her imperative. Trust that everything is aligning in divine timing, and trust your soul voice. So the soul voice meditation is, what do I intuitively know will happen in divine timing for me? The intention is, my ego is in service of my soul, and I trust my soul's divine timing. So if I'm called to, I will put a picture in the community section. If not, then it's not meant to be. So I'm going to pull Queen Esther into here to keep that page, and let's see if we have any more messages. I was going to say, I feel like that's it, you guys. Especially if you watched the group reading, it was kind of more of that. You may want to go back and watch the group reading and hear some more messages. Do we have any more channeling, Spirit? Do we have any more channeling? I do feel like some of you are blocking your sacral chakra is really blocked. And so this could be a mother connection, right? Because your umbilical cord. It could be to your sex life. It could be to the person that you're with. But I just keep hearing the word hiding. And stop hiding behind, like, it's like, you give love a bad name, meaning like, it's like you're giving things, or you're doing things and giving things in the name of love. But they're saying, what if you gave and did that all for you first? You hear that? You know what I mean? So work with Isis as well. Like, I would really bring Isis in as your deity right now to work with. And definitely Buddha. Work with Buddha's teachings. You know, Buddha was very feminine. And there are a lot of people that are convinced, myself as one of them, that the years that Jesus was missing when he went on his walkabout, I believe, just like many others, that he went and studied with Buddha. Because so much of the teachings from Buddha are the same. That's what Jesus, because the Old Testament was like some harsh ass shit, right? But then he brought in love. You know, Jesus was like, no, man, we love everybody. Everybody's different. We all have a purpose. We all have a reason. You know, it's okay to be different. It's okay to love each other. It's okay for a man to lay with a man. Like, if that's what if they love each other, love is love. Love doesn't have an identity. It doesn't have it, you know, we all have divine feminine. We all have divine masculine. That was Jesus' message. You know, and when my Christians in my family turned away from me and called me a demon and said my gifts were from the devil and all that kind of stuff, I was like, well, then I guess you probably would have been a Roman. So you're really a Roman Christian. I'm like, so don't hide behind Jesus, because Jesus would never, ever say that. I'm like, I'm doing so much of the same thing that he and his prophets did. And the other seers, you know, look at Moses. That's why Moses came in today. Moses came into the beginning of the group reading, and I felt like he was here for a reason. It's like there were real people and real prophets that were out there, you know, but it's like every single text, whether it's the Bible, the Quran, I mean, you know, I don't care what it is, you know, it's like, even if you sign a ketubah, right? Let's go to the Jewish religion. Even if you sign a ketubah, right? And say, like, this is my person, this is my, you know, it's like, if they're not your true beshert, right? If they're not your true person, then you're not in the right place. Like, you may be there for a while to learn lessons, but like, in this place, in this time, when you're watching this reading, we're not in those places. That's old programming. You're like, it's like you're trying to be human and like the light worker at the same time, which, yes, you're in a human, you're in an avatar, you're in a, you know, right? But you're just as magical and you have just as many powers. So what you say, what you do, what you think affects not just you or the people in your environment, but us too, because I'm with you in your head. Why do you think Spirit and I get a little like tough love with you guys? Because we're so connected. I feel you guys. I hear you guys. in my sleep, in my dreams, when I'm making food. Some of you reach out to me, I can feel you, you know? And I've been saying the same things over and over and over, and I know you hear me. But this is like, this is real. So use this heart. I mean, look at all this green that came in. I only have 2 pieces of jade. This piece and then the piece that Buddha's on, right? And then I was gifted this. I do have a lot of other green stones, but like, you know, I forget what this one is called again. So bad. I wrote it down, but I don't remember offhand. But anyway, right? This is to help me sleep, actually, but to be calm. But this is same with you. It's like, I feel like you need to be in a calm, look at that. Come on. It's got like a pointy thing on the bottom. Not as tall as that one, but right? It's like Buddha's like trying to talk to you. They're trying to talk to you. The divine feminine is like begging you with everything they are. Because you're superheroes, and with great strength comes great responsibility. So you have to just go, okay, fine. I'll do it. That's what they want. They want you to break through that shadow and just, you know, you'll get there. Some of you are still in the dark night of the soul, and that's okay. But, you know, some of you, you know it's time. You know, in the Asian culture, they say Buddha should always be above your head space, you know, so I do normally keep Buddha up high. But it's only because it's out of respect, not because Buddha thinks that Buddha's better than anybody, right? It's not about that. It's about a respect thing. And that's the one thing that we've lost. Respect for ourselves, respect for spirit. Because think about this. Every time you keep aligning with your ego and your past, you're disrespecting not just yourself, but you're disrespecting all of us. Because we are connected and we need you. The rest of us, we're like, I'm fucking tired, man. I can't keep holding this building up by myself. You know what I mean? In this tribe, you know, it's like, I love it, but I love that you guys are here. But at the same time, I'm like, you know, some of you are doing the work and I see you and I know you're doing the work. But some of you, you're just playing in this fucking fairy fantasy in your head. And I love the airy fairy part about you, but now it's like, we need the elvish fairy. Right? In Lord of the Rings. We talked about that in the group reading, the Fellowship of the Ring. One ring to rule them all. Right? Not like, here, you can go to this. It's like, no, we need you. And we need you now. And you were drawn to this divine feminine energy because it's like you're dun, 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 Wonder Woman, right? I'm surprised they didn't have me wearing cuffs, or maybe I was supposed to and I forgot. But, right? But I feel like you guys, but they're invisible, right? They're invisible cuffs. They didn't have me forget. I would have worn it. But yeah, they need you to be in that place of like the warrior goddess energy. And even if you're watching this and you align, you know, with divine masculine, outwardly, inwardly, whichever way, this is your divine feminine that is saying, yeah, but that's the part of you that's missing. That's the part of you that needs to, that we need the most, that you need the most. Because the truth is, once you realign back into you, into this powerful God, goddess energy, I also feel like the divine feminine, there's a lot of different characters in here. And I know that Queen Esther is like, you know, an earthly energy, but I think that's why she aligned with you, because she's an earthly energy. But there's also like, I'm feeling a lot of like God, goddess energy. Moses told me at the beginning of this that Moses was a god. I didn't know that, but he told me, and maybe they talk about it in scripture, maybe, but Moses was a god. And he came down and did the same thing. He came down and worked as a prophet in human form, but he is a god. Like, I don't know if he's Odin or if he's connected to that like divine masculine of Odin. I don't know, but definitely I felt, ooh, I got the chills all over my body. So you may even want to work with Moses energy and Odin just to, you know, and maybe it's because your divine feminine is too loosey-goosey right now and they're trying to get you in balance with your divine masculine, but maybe not in this like, kind of like, oh my gosh, oh, I'm such a fright, you know, kind of like divine feminine energy. What am I going to do? I need someone to save me. Spirit's like, nobody coming in to fucking save you but yourself. And just same with these people that you're trying to save, the only person that's going to save them is them. And so they're saying like, stop trying to save them. That's their job. It's an inside job. It's been coming up a lot lately. I spoke about it in the last reading for the new moon in Virgo. You may want to go check that out. And then we had some great messages from the dragonfly about illusions and delusions, right? So I feel like it's time for you guys to get out of this delusional bubble you have of like thinking you're going to save the world through an old process or an old way or an old method. No, it's time for like whatever has been trying to awaken inside of you. I feel like some of you know already. Like there's something that's been like gnawing at you to change or gnawing at you to, and some of you are making excuses, and some of you, it's not an excuse. You're just waiting for divine timing, and Spirit's like, it's coming. Like, it's so close. But I feel like if you're watching this in real time in September, something's going to happen in September. Something that's going to come out of nowhere that you weren't even expecting, whether it's a job offer or an opportunity to live with somebody, or like, you know, maybe your friend's going to call you and be like, I just caught my husband with blah, 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 and I'm moving out. Do you want to get a place together? I'll tell you, I did that after my first marriage. My friend and I, well, actually, she was like a work friend. It's not that we weren't friends, but it was like more of a work friend. We did hang out outside of work, but it's not like we were like the best of friends. We were just work friends that hung out sometimes and partied. But when she was going through a divorce, she found out that I was going through a divorce and was looking for somewhere to live through a mutual friend. And we came together. She was like, hey, do you want to come live with me? And because she was, you know, it was horrible how she inherited her money. She lost her parents and she was an only child, but she was very well to do. And she said, don't pay me anything. And I was like, no, dude, I could pay my rent. She's like, I literally don't need you to. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, if the bills get higher, and she's like, if I need any money, I'll let you know, you know? And they were so gracious, and I was very, very blessed. And that gave me an opportunity to work and save money. I lived with her for, I think, like 4 months or something. And when it was time, you know, I got my own place, and it was awesome. And I was blessed to save up, you know, enough to get out on my own. And by that time, I, you know, had gotten really solid with my job. So you never know. And it could even be like, maybe you move into a situation that's not super ideal, but like you work like 2 jobs so that like you're like out, you know what I mean? And you're just not really there. You're just there to like shower and sleep. And you keep your space like really grounded, and you know, you keep it locked or whatever, or you keep it where it's like they wouldn't go in your room, and you keep it locked down and blessed, you know what I mean? And just maybe, you know what I mean? Like, whatever you need to do. But I'm definitely feeling like for some of you, it's imperative, because you're empaths. It's imperative for you to get out of a certain situation physically, because you literally, like, your body is like rejecting, like there's all these good things that keep trying to come your way, and it's like whether you're in a roller coaster of emotion because of what you're dealing with or whatever it is. But I just feel like this repelling energy that I was feeling earlier, where the money was like kind of falling off. I'm like, yeah, look, now it's over here, like your money fell off again. Exactly. So it's about getting all this shit together. And then once you do that and align with your heart space and your heart chakra, and once you're, you know, because I really feel like you guys do work really hard, or at least you're trying to figure it all out. But there's like these little bits and pieces, and they're saying because it all starts here. It all starts with your self-love. And if we give excuses because we're comfortable, it's like you may just have to be uncomfortable for a little while. Maybe for a few months, but you know what? It'll go by really fast. But I promise you, if you take that leap of faith right now, Spirit, if you walk off the building, so to speak, you know, they say it's like if you walk off, you know, Spirit will catch you. You know, don't literally go walk off a building, but you hear what I'm saying, right? It's a metaphor. It's saying like, if you take the leap of faith, if you take a risk, Spirit will catch you. And if you're taking a risk in the wrong direction, they'll let you know. You'll feel it. Right? Because it may look like the most killer apartment, right? Where you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. But right, it's a killer apartment for a reason. It's a good deal for a reason, because it's actually horrible. And you can hear your neighbors fighting through the walls. And you know what I mean? I've had that where I'm like, I fell in love with, because I love vintage buildings. But the old vintage buildings that are built really well have cement in between. So they're awesome because you can't hear anything. But some, they got cheap about it. And even though they're older buildings, it's like you hear everything. You can almost hear people whispering. I mean, I've had places where I was like sandwiched in. Like I had an opera singer above me and this guy who used to party below me. And it was just like, oh my God, I felt like I was in hell. And I was like, yeah, I can't live in an apartment. Until I realized that I moved into this one place and it was built really, really well. It's like a super posh hotel. So rich people back in the 1800s, right? Like they didn't want to hear other people they would complain about that because they have their own castles or their own homes, right? They're not living with other people. And I realized, so it does make a difference. So do your homework, do your research. And if there's a place or a certain job that you love, like, you know, just keep going towards what is pulling your heart. You know, maybe you want to play music, but you don't, you know, have a band together yet, or you don't know whatever. So try and get a job waiting tables or as a bar back, or, you know, start small. If you've never bartender did that, be like, can I come in? You know, if there's a place you really like. I mean, I know I said with the drinking and things like that, but I don't know why that came up. So it might be for some of you. And some people can handle it more than others. Some people really can handle it more than others. And it depends on the energy. You know, if it's like a high vibrational energy where people are drinking and the music's really good, but it just depends. I mean, that analogy came in for a reason. So maybe there's one person out there that you really want to get into the music industry, or maybe it's because it's to show you that you're meant to do a YouTube channel at home, because if you start playing in bars after bar after bar, that'll wear you down. I just saw an interview yesterday with Steve Perry with Dan Rather, and I was like, why is this coming into my orbit? It was so surreal and bizarre, but I was really drawn to watch it, and it's for you, because that's what happened with Steve Perry. He got burned out with Journey. He loved it. He's like, as a child, that's all I ever wanted to do. I was a singer. And he told his whole story, and he's like, but then I'd seen this place I'd gone, and he's like, I didn't want to sing anymore. He's like, he feels like he manifested all of his throat injuries because he was like, I just didn't want to do it anymore. He's like, it was over. I was done. And so, you know, it's like, it could be something like that. Like, you know, maybe it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know if I'd ever want to tour like that. As an empath, I think that would be really hard for me. I think that's why Taylor Swift doesn't see people before or after her shows. You know, it's like because she's exuding and putting out so much energy and magic, but also it's draining because there's all those people who are there, even though they're lifting her up, they're also, it's like this cool energy, but it's draining. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it's got to be really draining on her. So she needs to go back into her little magical bubble, right, and recharge so that she can do a show. Because people that watch her show are like, dude, she's not human. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on, but like, I mean, they're like, she's unbelievable, right? But even she knows, like, because this is her last hurrah, she'll probably never do anything like this again. Not on this grand of a scale for this long, for this, you know what I mean? Because as you get older, it's exhausting, and your energy and all those people, but I don't know, who am I to speak for her? The energy's changing and shifting on the planet too. So anyway, so that's it, you guys. Those are your messages. I don't believe we have anything else. I've been inventing new fun pendulums lately. Do we have any more messages for reading one? Nope, that is it. And speaking of drained, I can feel how drained you guys are feeling. So do yourself a favor when you're done with this. Take a hot shower, a bath if you can. Just cleanse your energy, cleanse your space, do a smudging, drink lots of water, very clear, clean water. Eat as healthy as possible. Try and keep processed foods out of your diet as much as possible. You are an oracle of love and a beacon of light. Remember that, okay? But the only person you got to concentrate on giving that love to first is you. Because once your love is full and your cup is full, then you can give it to everybody else. But until then, keep it close to your heart. You can pray and send love out into the universe every day through prayers. But you don't have to physically keep being around people to do that. Okay? I love you so much. Self-care September, or self-care whenever you watch this. Self-care, self-care, self-care. For the next 30 days, be very mindful of how you're taking care of yourself every single day. And showing up for yourself and spirit. All right, until next time, take good care of yourselves and each other. I love you so much. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Oh, and all my information is all over here if you want to have some one-on-one work with me, or if you would like a recorded reading, or if you'd like to contribute to this channel. All right, and never ever expected, but always appreciated. Love you so much. I'll see you later. Bye. Welcome, 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 reading 2. So your messages today are going to be coming from the Wellness Library. I love this deck. I love how it came into my orbit because it's really 3 decks in one. So what I like to do is I actually like to pull them all out and just kind of see, you know, who wants to talk to us, because there's 3 separate decks. I was kind of pulled to do this. Okay, cool. It's like its own little That's so cute. Okay, so let's see. So do we want to hear from Stress Less? Let's see what they have to say. They're not coming out. Like, it's almost like I feel like it's like, no. That doesn't mean we won't. It's just not yet. So let's see. Do we want to hear from the Positive Vibes? Okay. Oh, yep. Oh my gosh, one flew out, but I'm going to open the whole thing because, okay. Positive Vibes. So let's hear what the Positive Vibes have to say. There's a card stuck in there. Look at that. But it doesn't want to come out, so I'm just going to leave it. I'm just going to leave it be. Okay. So Positive Vibes. What messages does reading 2? So these are just messages you need to hear from Spirit. The Fellowship of the Ring, ... Stairway to Heaven was for the group reading. So if you want to go back and watch that, that was at the beginning. It started at the beginning and went until reading 1. There are timestamps obviously below. That's how you probably found this, most likely, unless you're watching it all the way through. So these are just messages that you need to hear right now. And as you already know, because you chose it, the title for your reading is Easy Living. Okay, so Positive Vibes. Let's hear what this has to say. And it says, let me get my glasses on. It has the smallest cursive. It's pretty, but it's so tiny. Let go of heavy things. Oh, so these are messages you need to hear from Spirit right now. So in order to have the high vibrational energy, to have positive vibes in your life, you got to let go of the heavy shit, right? You got to release the heavy stuff. I feel like that's what they're trying to say, right? Like you have to release, hold on. Oh, look at that. I don't think I've ever sneezed on a reading before in my life. And I normally would have let it rip, but I didn't because I don't have tissue over here and I didn't know if anything would come out. But almost in a weird way, I feel like that was meant to, no, I know that was meant to happen because I really, like, you know, encourage people to let it fly when it comes out because it's your body's expelling something. So the fact that it said let go of heavy things, it's like, you know, even it's like, even I feel like even in your sneezes you're holding back, you know what I'm saying? Like you're not just allowing your body to just release whatever needs to come out, you know. Obviously we always want you to release it into your arm or into, you know, a napkin or tissue or something, right? Because you want to put that back out into the elements, but at the same time sometimes you just gotta let it rip. Sometimes you just gotta like let it go. So let go of heavy things. Wow, that's pretty serious. So I feel like that's what they're trying to say, like your wellness. That's why you're struggling to have, like, I feel like some of you, oh, maybe the sneeze is that, do you get sick a lot? Or do you get colds a lot? Because I'm getting this vibe that at least one of you get sick all the time. And Spirit's like, yeah, well, that's because you're of this. Because you're holding back your energy, you're holding back yourself, like you're not allowing yourself to fully like be. And so, you know, I've said this for years and I know a lot of people think I'm an asshole for saying this, and you can go ahead and come at me and challenge me all you want, but I know just from watching it through people that I know and celebrities as well, but fibromyalgia is just one of many like conditions, diseases, you know, whatever that you absolutely like give yourself because of the heavy burden of other things. Actually, you know what? I was wearing this ring for reading 1. So if you're drawn to reading 1, maybe that message is for you, but now I feel like it wants to come off. That was so weird. It was almost like my finger felt like it was on fire and I barely even felt it the other reading, and I wear it on that finger all the time. But yeah, all of a sudden I just felt like I kind of wanted to like move my jewelry around, which is kind of interesting. And maybe it is because you guys need the turquoise here because you're not, there's no there's not enough like self-care. Like I feel like for some of you, the reason why you're struggling so much is because, and I say that because a lot of times, you know, we come and watch readings for all different reasons, but let's be honest. I don't know about you guys, but I don't really go and look at a ton of readings when I'm feeling good, right? Like, or I should say, I don't watch readings when I'm not feeling good because I know that can mess with me, but I'm saying like, if I'm confused about something, it just wants to be here, I think. If I'm confused about something, I'll go and get some insight from Spirit. I feel like this whole setup is like a metaphor for you guys because we had a completely different setup for reading 1. They just wanted you to be still for a minute. That's been a challenge for you, to stay still. I actually get little things from Spirit. Either literally, there's this one song that's called Be Still, and then like there's Still by Lionel Richie. There's a few songs that, like, if I'm listening to music and I'm working on something and like Spirit's like you're done, you've been doing this for 5 hours, like go take a break or whatever, like something will come across on my music like that, and I'm like, okay. Or if I'm working on my computer and like something will pop up and it'll be like, be still or go be quiet. So look for those messages. I feel like Spirit is constantly sending you signs, and you take them. You're what my aunt used to call a cafeteria Christian. Like, you're cherry picking the spiritual practices that you want to do, but the ones that you need the most are the ones that you're avoiding. I don't know if that resonates with you or not, but so, and the letting go of heavy things is one of them, right? Because you're realizing like the world's different. Also, this is a rose quartz. I was surprised it didn't come into reading 1, but I feel like you guys could really use some rose quartz as well for some good old self-love. We'll put that with the turquoise, because turquoise is also like a good stone for love. But that's what's on the menu right now, is love. It's about love. Okay, so I'm getting no more from positive vibes, at least for now. I don't know if we want this one yet. Okay, so stress less. Let's see. Maybe they wanted you to see the positive vibes first, which is kind of funny because that's positive vibes, but yet it says something like let go of heavy things. But that's what they're trying to say. Like you're like, but why aren't I positive, or why isn't my life, you know? And they're like, because you're being weighed down by all this heavy shit. So if you want to stress less, this is what you need to do. Here we go. Wellness Library. Notice which of the people in your life boost you and which ones drain you. Allocate your time accordingly. So if you don't have the courage yet to stop talking to the vampires in your life, then limit your availability. Do not make excuses and do not lie. That's what I heard from Spirit. When you make excuses, or especially if you're doing it through lying, that's karma. Because you're disrespecting yourself, you're disrespecting your soul, and you're not setting boundaries with people. And it's fear-based, because you're like, they won't love me. You know what? It took me years, and I finally realized, like, you know, I know I've been talking about it a lot lately, but I don't care, because it's a huge impact on my life. But my mother passed away a few weeks ago, and it has been the biggest like missing puzzle piece of my journey that I had no idea. Like, there was a part of me that felt that, but like didn't want it to be true, you know what I mean? Because of course I wanted her to, you know, I wanted us to come back together. I wanted her to, you know, and it wasn't meant to be. Like, she had to do what she had to do. That was her life, that was her trajectory. Even the end, the way that it ended with us was karma for her, you know? It's like you can give somebody chance after chance after chance after chance, and then it's like, oh, but I'm your mother, or oh, but I'm your sister, or oh, but I'm your, you know, whatever. It doesn't matter. I'm your lover, but I'm your best friend. Hey, I'm your boss. Yeah, well, you can't treat me like that. You can't talk to me like that. I won't allow it. And if you've allowed people to treat you a certain way and talk to you a certain way, that's why you're not doing very well. That's why you're feeling sick. You know, the apophyllite is the crystal that like amplifies our connection to spirit and our intuition. So maybe you need to get an apophyllite in your life too, you know. And you know, it's like, and if you were drawn to the group reading or reading 1, I highly suggest you go and watch them both, because it's basically the same thing, you know. It's almost the same thread in a way. It's just that this is maybe through a different way. Sometimes people need to hear things. Maybe you needed to hear this first before you go, you know what I mean? Or vice versa. But this one, I mean, it's like allocate your time accordingly. How much time are you giving to people who aren't giving, ooh, 2 came out together, who aren't giving back to you? Look at that. So since this one's face forward, we're going to do this one first. So this one says, Interesting, but we were just talking about time. Know your limits. Don't agree to plans and projects that you know you have no energy for. Yes. I don't care if it's a holiday, if it's their birthday. Just be like, happy birthday. Call or text them and be like, I'll come by in a few days. Or go there before their birthday. You don't have to show up for somebody just because they want you to. This has taken me 50 plus years. Please don't take this many years. Learn it now. Stop doing it now. I realized that the reason why I had to wait until my mom died is because I was trying to protect her. I was really trying to protect her. That was my ego. That was my ego thinking I could protect her. And I always felt like I was meant to like come out more into the world in my later years. So, you know, go with your intuition, go with your gut. But in terms of like these vampires and these people around you, like do not let people guilt you into shit. Say, no, I'm sorry that your perfect birthday is not aligning with my life today. I'm sorry, you know, and you don't even have to say you're sorry. That's a very human, that's my old programming coming out, right? You don't even have to say you're sorry. You know, it's like with deep sympathy that I cannot be there. But it's just not aligning with my energy today. But I can't wait to see you. Because the truth is, the people who love you and care about you will understand that. All of my friends and my family that are in my life now know if they don't hear from me for months, years, there's a reason for it. There's always a reason for it. The other people, even though I told them that I needed space, they just kept coming. I'm like, okay, well, if I fucking tell you I need space, it's like, you know, if you don't hear from me, no, it's like no answer is there's your answer. If somebody wants an answer from you right away, you don't have to give it to them. You know, either if you're like, no, I still want to sit with that for a while, or I'm still deciding, you know, if they're like, oh, well, your time's up, then be like, then I guess my time's up. Because if you're feeling anything under duress, it's not the right thing for you. When something is right for you, when something aligns for you, everything comes together and is cohesive perfectly the way it's supposed to be. I had something like that similar happen to me yesterday, where I was like, oh, I thought this thing was going to happen. Okay. And then it was finally towards the end of the day, my higher self came through and was like, you know, their timing's not your timing. Like, remember that. And Spirit's rejection is your protection. So, you know, but then funnily enough, it's like it came through today. You know what I mean? Because it aligned with the energy it was supposed to. And it made me laugh and made me chuckle. Because I was like, oh, see? Because like, what am I worrying about? Because whatever's meant for you is meant for you. But if you're holding back from something, like what if you go, you know, somebody's like, oh, come with me, you know, to get a party dress. And you're like, I don't really want to go shopping with you. I have something for the event. Do you have another friend that can go with you? And be like, but I really like your, you know, like, okay, well, you know what? You can send me pictures when you're at the store. And if I'm available, I'll look at them and I'll let you know. But if not, you know, I might have my phone off that day. You know, it took years because I was fast, easy accessible to everybody. I thought if I was easily accessible to everybody that I was the best friend, the best sister, the best aunt, the best daughter, you know, the best worker, the best partner. I sacrificed so much of my happiness for others. And you know what I realized in the end? Those that didn't like me still don't like me to this day. Those that didn't believe in me still don't believe in me to this day. You know what I mean? And that's okay. And the ones that do are still in my life. And the ones that care about me and know that, because especially for what I do, sometimes I'll make plans with somebody, but then I'm like, I don't know. I can't guarantee where I'm going to be mentally, emotionally, or physically that day. If I can make it that day, I'll be there. But if I can't, then, you know, I wish you all the best. Have a really great time. You know, that's it. Then that friend comes over and visits you. Or you go to that friend's house, or you go to the park and have a picnic, whatever the hell that is better for you guys. Maybe you go on a hike together. But you do not have to be at the same place at the same time as everybody, you know. I've watched that happen time and time again with people. Or I'm like, why are you doing that to yourself? They're like, oh, I really want to go. I'm like, well, I know you want to go, but I don't think it's good for you. You know, I don't think it's good for you. Right? And put the positive vibes on top of the stress. But if you're still trying to fit into some mold or trying to, you know, it's like, it's almost, oh shit, I just got it. That's why they did it like this. Like because you're still in a box. There's a part of you that's still in a box, that's still perfectly preserved for everybody as being this character, that character. That's why, like, I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go back for my mom's service. And then I thought, no, because they won't, it just won't be what I want it to be. You know what I mean? I know it's not going to be what I want it to be. Things may change, it may be good for some people, it may be good for others, but for a lot of people, I'm like, you know what, and it's not worth it because I don't need that closure. I've already had my closure. I don't need to be abused, verbally, mentally, emotionally. Like, I've already been abused. I don't need it anymore. And I'm not going to go to a place that I know for sure it will happen. At least by one person, but I know for sure there will be at least 3 to 7 people that would be super abusive to me. And I'm like, why would I do that? And my mom wouldn't want me to do that. She tried to shield me my whole life. But that was the whole point, is I'd say to her, I'm like, you never shielded me, Mom. And she's like, oh, I did when you were little. I'm like, yeah, but I needed you when I was grown too. She's like, you were old enough to fight for yourself. I'm like, I was alone though. I'm like, do you know what it's like to be the only one in the family that thinks and talks the way I do? And everybody's always ganging up on me and you just let it happen? I'm like, I watch movies where the mom's like, stop it, enough. Be nice to your brother and sister. It's like, I'm like, there wasn't enough of that in my life. So I felt like she never had my back, you know? Now in death, like, we've had these great conversations. Right before I did these readings, my mom came through and there was this shadow of hers that was coming out that was really messed up. And I was like, whoa. And I could tell, like, she's still working through stuff even in death. Right? Because it was so heavy in this life. So you guys may be working through stuff from past lives outside of this human avatar life that you've lived. And even on top of that, I feel like you've had many lives in this human avatar, you know, whether you're 20 or 75, you know, it's like, I feel like you've all been through a lot. And so you've built up the brick walls, and most of it is fear-based. And Spirit's like trying to show you that you don't have to stay in this box, in this little perfect little place you created for yourself, or like what you think people think of you. I mean, I know for myself, it was exhausting wearing the masks. I'm like, I don't want to wear masks anymore. And then it was like, I took the masks off, but then even so, it's like I was either constantly explaining certain things, or I was, you know, as a telepathic medium, I can hear their things. And as an empath, I can feel their things that they were thinking and saying about me. And I was like, you know what? I don't fucking care. And a part of me is like, I really don't care, because I'm like, what they think of me is none of my business. But another part of me is like, this is gross. Like, wow. Like, that's a lot of hatred. I'm like, we are blood and bone, man. Like, it's like they hate me like I've murdered their family or something. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with me. That has nothing to do with me. Did you ever hear that saying, there's nothing worse than the unlived life of a parent? Well, that goes universally. Parents in general. There is nothing worse than the unlived life of a parent onto their own children, but then also projecting onto others. Because if people didn't have the energy or the guts or the means to pursue their dreams, for those that do, it's almost like, you know, they feel like, what the fuck, man? Why can't I make that happen? Why can't? And Spirit's like, but you can, though. Nobody's stopping you. The only one stopping you is you. And the only one allowing these people to harm you, abuse you, you know, to bring the stress and like where you feel like you're constantly fighting, right? Like, it's like you're like duality of stress and good vibes. And they're like, but what if you were just like always this? And the stress is just gone. There's no such thing as stress is gone. It doesn't exist. Look at that, came right out. I was like, doesn't want to stay there. It doesn't exist. So this stress less says, when things seem hectic, take 5 minutes to do nothing but stare out of the window. And if you have to time it on your phone, which is probably the best way to do it, because in that way, you know, right, you put the 5 minutes on, the second you see it start going, you turn it over, and you make sure your phone's in airplane mode, because nothing is gonna, everything will survive for 5 minutes. Everything will survive for 5 minutes. And make sure whatever window you're looking out of or wherever you are, you know what I mean? It's not like you're looking at stress, right? Like, you know, it says look out a window, but maybe it's you're going to look at a painting on your wall or something that brings you peace. Or nature. Look out the window, look at something in nature, but you know, don't look at like your kids having fun outside playing, right? Like, because that's the whole point, is like you're supposed to have 5 minutes to yourself. So take this very seriously. When things seem hectic, take 5 minutes to do nothing but stare out of the window. So this is very, very serious, right? And let go of heavy things. They're in the background there. Let's see if we're going to have any more cards from the Stress Less before we move forward. Any more? No? Okay, do we have any more positive vibes right now? Oh, one. Okay, slow down and take it all in. Yes, you're moving too fast. Slow down and take it all in. That's why, look at this, divine timing. They're talking about time. Because you're obsessed with time. You're obsessed with this, and it's like whatever world you're living in that's like on this time structure. Remember, time is man-made. It's not yours. It's literally not yours. This says every day is a fresh new start. So the new moon was yesterday. We're already in the 3rd day of September. It goes so fast. So that's why they're saying 5 minutes on the radar of life is a blip. You deserve 5 minutes. Everybody deserves 5 minutes. And every day is a fresh new start. I almost feel like this one wants to go back here. I don't know. It's like that game of cards or whatever. Oh, look at that. It just wants to be there. Look at that. That's awesome. It's meant to just stay. Right? So try again each day. The most successful people will tell you they tried 975 times. The time you're seeing them may look like, oh, they may look like it's easy, but it's not. Some people become an overnight success, but you know what happens to those people? They usually become a fucking mess, a train wreck. Because, you know, like I asked Spirit, I'm like, how come I wasn't famous when I was younger? How come, you know, I wasn't born in this time where I could have a YouTube channel and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, because you had to go through all of this, because now this is the time. Now is the time. Now is the hour. We have the strength. We have the power. You know, and all the people that were around me, as much as they were teaching me how to treat me, I was teaching me how to treat me. And I was allowing them to treat me whatever way that they wanted to. Good deeds. And I would stick up for myself. I wasn't a doormat. But there were definitely things that I hid from friends and family because I was afraid that they wouldn't love me or that they'd think I was weird. So, okay. In order to elevate your energy, now that you got the medicine, now that you know what to do, you heard it, we don't have to go over it, to bring your energy up, to balance your karma, to push your ego aside, it says offer to run an errand for someone. Do you know somebody who works a lot? Are you somebody who doesn't have kids and maybe like your good friend has some kids and they don't like get a lot of time to themselves? So you're like, hey man, you know, I don't have it in me to watch your kids, like, because I'm an empath and like the energy, and maybe they know that about you, right? But be like, but do you need me to go to the store for you? I have to go for myself. Can I pick you up anything? You know, it takes nothing, especially now with like Venmo and all that. It's like you don't even have to have cash ready for your friend, right? You could just be like, hey, can you just send it to me? Or maybe you have cash or whatever. Or maybe you have the money and you're like, hey man, it was $20. No biggie. Take the kids out and get them some ice cream or something, you know? I guarantee you, the more you put out into the world, the more you receive. The more you hold on to things and money and be like, mine, 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 that's what makes you sick, actually. That's what helps with, you know, keeping the low vibration, because it's fear. I feel like it's like, you know, it's like the scarecrow, and there's a little bit of me over here and a little bit of me over there, and he's like, you know, there's a little bit of you everywhere. He's like, you're all over the place, right? Like it was a metaphor, like his brain. If I only had a brain, his brain was all over the place, right? Because he doesn't, he couldn't handle it. He was born a scarecrow to just stay there and watch them. But he's like, but I'm more than just a scarecrow. We recently watched iRobot. I think it's still free on YouTube, so you may want to go check it out. They do a lot of commercials. I have commercial free. I pay for it. It's worth it for me. But But iRobot is so good. My gosh, I was really pulled to watch it again, and it was exactly 20 years old. Go and watch that if you haven't seen it in a long time. And if you've never seen it, oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's still just as good now and just as relevant. Okay, so 3 of these came out together, and I feel like they may be for shorts. Yep, they are. So I'm going to pull those to the side. And because I just realized that I was putting the good deeds and the positive vibes together, but that's okay, because I feel like if they're meant to be separated, they will be. Or here, I'll separate them now. It's actually not that hard because they're color coded. And maybe there are no more cards at all. Maybe there's no more good deeds at all. It's kind of interesting that that happened that way, though. I didn't even recognize I was doing that. Okay, so do we have any more? Ooh, do we have any more good deeds for this reading? Okay. So commit to a random act of kindness each day. Each day, a random act of kindness. It could be a prayer. It could be like maybe since this is with the new day, we'll put it here. So now starting your new life and your new day, start doing a random act of kindness every single day and see what happens. It could be that you see somebody that looks a little sad or bummed out and just be like, hey, how you doing? Are you having a good day? You know, sometimes people need to talk. Sometimes people look at you like they're crazy. And I've had people be like, fuck off. And I'm like, okay. And I just laugh because I'm like, wow, that's really bad, you know, because I'm like, you know, I just send them good energy. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like they don't know. You know what I mean? Like they don't know what they're doing. They're not trying to be that way. They're just in such a dark, sad place. Those are the people, I'm getting you out of the box. Because, you know, it's like nobody puts baby in the corner. Nobody puts easy living reading 2 in the corner. Because now you know what you need to do to get back, to get more connected to yourself and your wellness. But by letting go of heavy things, by doing little, just smiling at somebody is a random act of kindness. And it takes you a second. Yesterday, or the day before, whenever it was, I was walking through a store and this guy walked in and he had his head down. He had such a sourpuss on, and I don't know what it was, but I just kept looking at him until he looked up. And when he looked up, I just smiled, and he just kind of was like, oh, and he smiled back. And I watched his whole entire demeanor change, and he like was more upright when he was walking. Sometimes we just need a gentle reminder. Who knows what he just went through? Even when you're having a tough day, you can pray for somebody. You know, if you maybe you got a bonus and you see somebody looking through their purse for change and you say, you know what, I got that. What's their bill? 16 bucks? I got that. I guarantee you it'll come back around. Because you've lost your shimmer. See, when you're here, it's like you don't really see it, but you're in there. You just gotta stop giving your fucking power away. It's time to pull that power back. That's why the dragons came in on, actually, no, that was in reading 1. So if you're drawn to reading 1, we worked with Buddha and the dragons and the butterfly. So it could just be a message, and if you're not, you don't have to, but it could just be a message to work with dragon spirit to help push your ego away, because fear is part of the ego, right? Because the fear in the ego is being afraid that people won't love you or like you. And you know what? Who cares? Because honestly, it really is genuinely none of your business whether they like you, they don't like you. Do we have any more last words? Oh my gosh. We have 1 stress less. Catch up with the loved one over the phone. So maybe there's somebody in your circle that you're like, I really, can we have a talk? Can we have a chat? Be like, I really, really, really could use your guidance and support right now. And I'm sure they'll be like, yeah, you know, like sometimes people are like, you know, let me, you know, look at my schedule and, you know, whatever. So then it says, superheroes are fictional, so stop trying to be perfect. Okay, they're not fictional. I disagree with that. But stop trying to be perfect. Stop caring about what people think of you. You are a superhero. Your superpower is not giving a fuck. Your new superpower is not giving a fuck. Now, I mean, like, obviously you can care about people. We're telling you to do something nice, I'm saying, but not giving 2 fucks about what other people think of you or your actions. You know, I've been with people where I'll start talking to a stranger and they're like, you're so weird. Why do you have to talk to everybody? I'm like, I don't know. I was just drawn to talk to them. I'm like, they need help right now. They need guidance. I'm like, I'm not going to not, you know, it's like sometimes people really, really need our help. And, you know, if you found yourself here, you're a light worker. You're here to do good deeds and to help people and to stay in a positive vibration and to stay in a high vibe. Now, Spirit doesn't expect you to be perfect every single day, right? Like, they don't expect you to be like that all the time, right? But at the same time, if you're aligning yourself with people who are just out for themselves, that's not good, right? Like, you deserve better. You deserve better. And to be honest, they do too. Because the more you allow them to bully you, the more you're like taking them away from, you know, it's not like they're being punished, but, you know, yeah, it's an honor and a privilege to be in your presence and to be in your light. You're that powerful. You're that amazing. It is an honor and a privilege. And if they don't treat it like that, then they don't deserve it. They don't deserve to be around you. That's harsh, I know, but it's true. They don't. Ooh, I pulled out 2 positive vibes. Okay, don't worry about things you can't control. Exactly. People are going to do what they're going to do. I wanted to see my mom before she died. I didn't. I wasn't supposed to. I had my goodbye with her. She may not have had her goodbye with me, but I had my goodbye with her and my family. Who knows what the fuck she's been telling them and feeding them this whole time. But she and I will always know what went down between she and I. And maybe she told them the truth. I don't know. But you know what I mean? It's like, who cares? Let them talk. Let them fucking talk. If you feel right with yourself and spirit, everything else is gravy. Everybody else, it's their own shit that they're not dealing with, and they're using you as their catalyst to not work on themselves. And the last positive vibe card says, expect nothing and appreciate everything. Exactly. What do I say at these readings? I'm like, here's a way to contribute to my channel and to the work that I do on this channel. Everything, you know, you give is appreciated, but not expected, right? It's like, I'm never anticipated. I have been doing work on my channels for years. If you guys knew how much I made, you'd probably cry. You'd be like, no. Because that's okay, but it's also part of my karma. I did some really shitty things in my time. I manipulated and did, you know, to get a place I wanted or to be with a person I wanted or to get the thing I wanted, whatever it was. And so I had to go through my karma. I had to go through my own shit. And you may be going through that for yourself right now too. This one was really, I was really drawn to this. It says, be your own kind of beautiful. Yes. Stop trying to fit in with these people who don't love and appreciate. You know what? You know what's really sad is I lost a lot of really good friends because they cared more about what other people thought. I was like, I'm the one fucking friend that actually really cares about you, that actually really loves you. And yet I was the one that they treated the most like shit. And I was like, you know what? I'm tired of being the person, because it was easy, because I was an easy target, because they knew and I knew that they didn't really mean it, you know, whatever. But after a while, I was like, fuck you, man. I'm not your battering ram. I'm not here. I'm not your place to just come and dump on. I'm not a dump site. I deserve better, just like you deserve better. So, you know, and the more you do comes back to you. So don't limit yourself by, not participating in your own life is basically what I'm getting from Spirit. So those are your messages, beautiful souls. I hope they helped you in any way. And like I said, all of my information is on this channel. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, have a recorded reading done for you, or if you would like to contribute to the channel in any way, I have a link to my wish list on Amazon and also with PayPal and Venmo. And again, always appreciated but never expected. I'll see you next time. Take really good care of yourselves and each other, okay? I'll see you later. Blessed be. Oh, bye. Welcome, reading 3. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Oh gosh. First of all, I just want to say blessed autumn for our Northern Hemisphere family, and blessed almost spring to our Southern Hemisphere family. So it's very interesting what's happening here. I'm like, I feel like I almost need like a few more minutes to even like kind of settle in, because there's such an intense energy coming through from this reading. First of all, I love that the title was Pastel Reflections, because the fact that it just I mean, yes, there are some bold colors in there, but there's so much pastel in there. And I pulled this before Spirit told me that was going to be it. And I wanted to leave off, in fact, the album was called Summer Dreams. And the song was called Pastel Reflection. So I'm like, oh, do you want me to use Reflection? Okay, so now you know your deck, by the way. Surprise! It's the White Light Oracle deck. For those of you who don't know already. That's why they wanted me to put this here. Interesting. I love when I don't know why they're doing stuff and then they show me why they're doing stuff. Okay, so this is going to go like this. Okay. Stop. Don't start on fire. Oh, no. Oh, it came off. I'm like a little kid. I'm like, oh, no. Oh, maybe that's you guys. Are you living in like some kind of like weird fear bubble right now? It just feels like it's off balance or something. It's because I have to pull the... I don't have fancy software, you know. I don't have a dual camera on my laptop, so I can't, like, I have to do it this way. Okay, anyway, that looks better. But yeah, I thought it was interesting because it's September 3rd, right? So we just had the new moon in Virgo yesterday, and we're still in the new moon energy. And this is like, it's not quite full, it's not quite empty. And I kind of feel like this almost like represents you guys in some way. Right? The pastel reflections, like there's something going on really deep inside of you guys that's like so intense. Something with past life energy. So let's just dive in and see what Spirit has to say. I love this book, but it is very, very extensive. So I will read what they tell me to read. Also, I'm going to preface this by saying I don't always know how to pronounce each name of the card. I do my best. I try. So if I butcher it, I apologize. And feel free to comment below so that I learn how to speak, how to say it correctly. Sometimes I will go before a reading if I know I'm going to be working with names that I'm not quite, you know, familiar with. Wait, hold on. I'm going to turn my heat. I just realized I'm like, my heat is... I'm like, why am I so hot? I'm like, because when I started this at like 9 in the morning, now I think it's like almost 1 or something. I've been working on these readings. But yeah, I definitely like, you know, will go and research what I can when I know. But when I don't, then, you know, I'm not going to like stop the video to just be perfect about it. It's not, it's about the message. They don't, you know, it's not like I'm being pompously disrespectful. Anyway, so what messages? Oh, wow. Number 15, Spirit Bear, which is so interesting because, I mean, I have the bear spirit medicine in the Native American deck. So let's put this here right now. Oh, I like that Spirit Bear. They're cute. Oh, it's a sweetie. I love spirit animals so much. So I'm going to put this here in the middle. And let's go to the book and see what Spirit Bear has to say. Number 15. Ooh, I opened a Bastet. So if some of you have been seeing, maybe this is like your sign that this is the right place. I just saw something with Bastet a few days ago. Also, it's 174 hertz. So maybe if you're drawn to that, you're meant to work with 174 hertz. Okay. And also the bear is, this Spirit Bear is 396 hertz. So you may want to work with that. Okay. So it says, you are being healed from guilt and fear. Oh, wow. You know what's interesting is I felt a lot of fear around this pile. Like I was around this reading. I said it, you know, in the beginning. I've been going now for 2 hours and 37 minutes, at least on here. I've also been going like for hours in between and before and stuff. But yeah, I don't remember in which reading or where we spoke of it, but that's really interesting because when it might have been when I was introducing it in the group reading. But if not, there was just so much where I wasn't really looking forward to it, even though I love this deck and it's really intense, but there's always such beautiful, it's angelic, right? So it always has like that angelic healing, but it's also no bullshit kind of stuff too, right? Like the angels don't play. But I have different versions from this artist, different cards, different versions of the moon, and this was the one that really wanted to come in. So I feel like it's almost like I feel like some of you are really tired, which is also why Spirit Bear came in, right? Because it's like they know, I mean, look at bears. For the most part, they're very solitary creatures, you know? That's why sometimes you see bears like going to be like playful, because they have different personalities, right? So if they don't have anyone to play with or talk to for a while, they can be kind of funny. They don't always want to go after humans or eat them. You know, most of them, they're herbivores, right? Like, not most of them, but not all of them eat, you know, they eat like fish and stuff, but they don't like eat humans. They don't want to attack humans, you know what I mean? But if a human is gonna, you know, be in their territory or something, they're gonna like protect their space. But I also feel like for a lot of you, like you've been in like hibernation mode. Like I'm feeling like the Hermit card energy. That's interesting. So if that resonates with you. So it says you're being healed from guilt and fear. Such emotions will no longer steal your personal power or dissuade you from confidence, happiness, and realizing your own worth. No matter how unlikely it may seem, you are going to emerge from a spiritual winter into light and life. The divinely ordained time for your liberation, healing, and emergence is much closer than you realize. Abundant blessings are stirring and shall soon manifest. Wow. I just heard that's it for now. But they do want you to work with the 396 hertz because it's deeply nurturing and protective. It's the heart frequency of the universal mother protecting her young, deflecting negativity, and refusing to overly condition the youthful mind. She looks out for them and provides warnings lest they wander too far from their authentic path. But she also encourages the child to learn who they are, to courageously explore their world, and to enjoy their freedom. So what I'm going to do is, there's a lot with each one of these, several pages. So what I'll do is I'll take screenshots of this card, and then you can go and work with it, because it has a section called the healing process, and then it has a mantra. And I'll tell you the mantra, but then you can work with it later. And it says, I invoke the healing frequency of unconditional love and wisdom of the Divine Mother. May my body, mind, and soul be sheltered in a sanctuary of protective grace to fully relax and deeply heal. If you were drawn to readings 1 and 2, you may want to go and watch them. You know, it may not all resonate with you, but Divine Feminine was the first reading, and it was called Changes. And then the second reading was the Wellness Oracle deck, which is, it has actually, here was how it looked, but it actually has 3 different decks on there. And so if you're drawn to reading 2, you may want to go and check that out, because there was a lot of great tips from Spirit in there in terms of like healing and staying in a high vibration and stuff like that. But in the Divine Feminine, and that's called Easy Living. That's why it's called Easy Living, because it's like if you kind of like follow along with the divine path and divine timing, it will feel like an easy life. But if you keep trying to force things and going against divine timing, it won't. And so if you were drawn to the first reading of the Divine Feminine, that's what they were talking about, was about connecting to the Divine Mother, connecting to the heart chakra, okay, the Divine Feminine. We worked with Queen Esther. So, okay, so those are the messages from the Spirit Bear. Let me see if we have any more messages today, Spirit. Is that it? Really? Is that it? Are we just having one message? That's simple? Oh my gosh. And see, look at, I was all worked up. And it's because as an empath, and that's a good lesson, because as an empath, I was taking on the energy of other people, of this, you know, kind of like self-reflection energy. Let me see. Maybe they do want me to read from do you want me to continue reading the book for the Spirit Bear? Okay. So I think that's it. Do you want me to pull any cards from these other decks? Okay. Because then I thought maybe, just because the other ones were so intense. No, that's it, you guys. Those are your messages. Do you have any more channeled messages? Let me sit for a second. These were sitting out, so let me see if any of these want to go, because I pulled some of these that I thought were for shorts. Okay, that's correct. They are for shorts. Let me see. Won't need my glasses if I'm channeling, so just hang in there. Let's see if there are any. Spirit, are there any messages coming through? Are there any messages coming through for anyone in this reading today? Any masters, passed on masters? Divine timing. They can't stress that enough to you. Divine timing. And it's a practice. It's an everyday thing. It is literally taken me so many years, you guys, to get to this point, because I practice every single day. And some days are better than others. Some days are easier than others. And I'm hearing from Spirit, you know what? You go with the divine timing. You go with the flow that feels good to you. But if you're going with someone else's, like we spoke about this in reading 2 as well, if you're going with someone else's timing, they're not going in divine timing either. And think about this right now. The whole planet, if they're not going with divine timing, then it's like a fucking pinball machine. For those of you who've been with me a long time, you know I have used this analogy for years, because it's one of the best analogies that was ever given to me through meditation when I started this, where Spirit was like, the planet is like, you know, so think of like a pinball machine. If you don't know what one is, basically it's a machine, and it's got all these lights, and it's got a metal ball that's super hard, and the metal ball is at the end of a spring, and when you pull the spring back and you release it, it lets it go, and it pushes that ball really fast into this, it's like into the outer realms, if you look at it like that, right? Like into the world, and it's like ping, 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 because it doesn't really have a direction. All it knows is it needs to go into the game. And then it hits bumpers, and it hits this, and it's like ping, 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 and the lights are going off, and the sounds are, and the bells are going off, and it's like, and it hits something, and then you've got these little flippers, and you're trying to flip the ball, and you're trying to keep the ball in there, and they're like, that's basically what you're doing by hanging on to the third dimensional energy. When you could be this peaceful, you could be this peaceful. It's not easy for the bear to be alone, but you know what? They're more peaceful. They're very peaceful animals. By nature, they're very peaceful creatures, right? The grizzlies can get a little, you know, but animals are just like people, right? Like you're going to have some that are like more gentle and more mellow, and some that are just aggro, right? They're pissed off. Maybe they were tortured as a cub. Maybe they lost their mother early, and so they had to learn to be mean to survive. You know, it's like this could be people in your energy and in your orbit too. Like this, you know, the bear, it's like being the metaphor, like which bear are you? Are you the calm, gentle spirit bear? Are you the hardcore, like in your face grizzly? You know, do you want to be over here? Even this, I feel like it's almost like nature. They had me put that there, but it's almost like, it's like you're dividing yourself from nature, and Spirit's like, no, you need to surround yourself. Let me pull these back in, right? Surround yourself with nature. Surround yourself with healing and light, and those who, you know, want the best for you. They want to see you succeed. They want to see you shine and grow. They want your crystal to be bright and effervescent as it heals the world. Who are you? I feel drawn to, I'm not going to lie, I'm not going against them, because I feel like they'd be okay with this, but I want to read this to you again as we close out. You are being healed from guilt and fear. But what they want me to do is I'm going to read it, and then they're going to tell you what you're feeling. This is what you're feeling, and they're telling you, does it make sense? Like, here's an example. You're being healed from guilt and fear, but you have to accept the healing. You have to move your mental, emotional body out of the fear zone, and you have to say, I trust you, Spirit. I trust you, God, whatever you believe in. I trust you, Goddess. Like, I trust you. I have faith in you. I have hope. I know that this is all working in divine timing for my greatest and highest good. Being in gratitude every day. Such emotions will no longer steal your personal power or dissuade you from confidence, right? Happiness and realizing your own worth. Stepping aside from the chaos of the pinball machine so you can be at peace. No matter how unlikely it may seem, you're going to emerge from a spiritual winter into light and life. So you may be going through the dark night of the soul. You might be in shadow, but the angels are here to remind you it's just part of the process. You chose to be human. You chose to incarnate in a human body. Whether you're an angel or just a spirit who's acting as a light worker, all of the above, you are magic. You understand that Earth itself is magic. There's magic everywhere, but if you don't look for the magic, you won't find it. You have to see the magic. You have to believe. You have to surround yourself with the things that make you feel like you. Okay? And it says I'm going to make sure because I don't want to get this wrong. I have to put my glasses on. The divinely ordained time for your liberation, healing, and emergence is much closer than you realize. This month, whenever you watch this in the next 30 days, you're going to see things unfold for you and you're going to have faith again. But don't lose faith. You know, even if it's something small, like, you know, you've always wanted some particular thing. And even if it's something as simple as like, you know, a treat. And somebody brings it into your orbit and you're like, oh my gosh, I love those, you know, and you're like, thank you so much. That was so nice. That's like a little wink, wink from spirit. Like, hang on. It's the little things. They're saying, remember, it's the little things. Abundant blessings are stirring and shall soon manifest. If you were drawn to this, it's because spirit is telling you, please hang on. Look at this. It almost looks as if the moon itself is like in the trees, like hanging on, right? But look at the tree itself. The tree looks dead, bent over, arched over, but the moon is telling them, press on. The trees are telling them, you got this. You're not quite dead yet. You still got life in you. It's that time of year, right? So whether you're going into spring or you're going into fall, it's that time of year, right? Summer, we're worn the fuck out. The empaths, the sensitives, we're worn the fuck out. It's hard. We love summer, right? Because the energy and it's fun and the warmth and the sun and the water and all that great energy. But then what's the reality though? Lots of people, lots of energy. If you're coming out of winter, it's the same. People are just starting to wake up. You're not quite in there yet, right? It's not quite spring. You're like, no, I just still want to be in my cozies in winter. I'm not ready for spring yet. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. You know, that's okay. Go in divine timing. You'll know when to go. You'll know what to do. So work with the 396 hertz, okay? And remember that hertz, it's a deep, nurturing, and protective. It's a heart frequency of the Universal Mother. Also, it's on page 101, you guys. What is 101? New beginnings. It's like 10 and 1 mirroring each other. It's like you're the end of something and the beginning of something new. But you need time to like let that go. It's like I always say in the new moon cycles, right? You don't really get into the moon cycle till about the first quarter moon, right? Because you're still coming off of the old moon cycle, the old energy, and going into the new. So Spirit's saying the same thing. Allow yourself to fold into the new, to come into the new. The pastel reflections is like, you're looking at old reflections of your past, but now the new reflection of you is softer. See how the external is a lot more bolder colors, but the inside's soft and fluffy? That's you. That's who you really are. You come from the cosmos, from the stars, where you don't have an earthly body. You have an ethereal body. Remember your ethereal body. That's the takeaway from this. Remember your ethereal body. Also, I was called to show you this lapis lazuli. So work with lapis lazuli. You don't have to own it to work with it, but if you have it, that's even better. Okay, with your throat chakra. Your throat chakra is blue. So wear blue colors, pastels. This is like, I feel like this is Spirit saying, if you want to see a lighter, more gentle side of you, then become the lighter, gentle side of you. Start wearing pastels. Maybe you're at a job that is really fast-paced. Maybe you need to work, I said this in another analogy before, at a library or a nursery, somewhere where like you don't deal with a lot of people. I just saw this guy who auditioned for some show, and he was a janitor at a cathedral because he said he liked it. He didn't really have to talk with people or deal with people, you know, yeah, here and there, but like for the most part, like he's just focusing on his task, just keeping this beautiful place pristine and clean, keeping the glass clean, keeping, you know, it's like he doesn't have to deal with, you know, it's like whatever it is until you find your path and your purpose. You know, maybe you have somebody who can help you while you're figuring it out, but if you can't and you have to take care of yourself and you have to support yourself, you know, then find something in a place that feels good to you right now. But for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we're going from autumn, then it'll be fall, right? And then we'll be going into winter. So allow the divine timing and take this time and utilize this energy to really go inward and work with Spirit, because we're still in the year of the dragon, and next year is the year of the snake, which is The snakes are all about rejuvenation, you know, rebirth, shedding the skin. But as of now, like, we're in this dragon energy that's about good fortune and standing strong in who you are, and not making excuses, or not allowing other people to tell you who you are, not allowing people to douse your light. But take care of yourself. In real time, it's September. Self-care September. October is going to be wild and fun, but also it's before, you know, we've got the, you know, American election, presidential election, and we know that a lot's going to happen between now and then. So we got wars going on all over the place. It's like, this is Revelations, you guys. We are in it. Everybody's expecting the other shoe to drop, but the light is here, and they're like, we got you. We got you. You're allowed. They're like, come out wherever you are, and meet the fine lady who fell from the star. Right? You got this. I love you so much. Take really good care of yourselves and each other, okay? And if you'd like to work with me one-on-one, my information is listed all on here. And if you'd like to donate anything to the work on this channel or for this tribe, the link to my Amazon wish list is there, and it's filled with lots of tarot cards and oracle cards. That's pretty much it. I think I might have candles on there, like stuff like that. You can send me candles. I've been thinking about filling it up more because I was going on a wish list for another reader, and they had like all this cool stuff, like stuff that they use, like, you know, paper and pens and markers and things that they use for their spirit work. And I was like, it's like being a teacher, you know, it's like, I am a teacher, right? And I'm a medium, but it's like, you know, so I don't know what I may go through there and throw some more things in, but then that way, you know, you can donate. If you're like, I only have $5, but I'll buy her these pens for $5 or whatever, you know, it'll help, you know, keep things going. But I also have the PayPal and Venmo if you'd like to donate that way to support in that way, so that I can buy food and stuff like that. So, all right, until next time. And it is never expected, but always appreciated. And if you'd like to book some one-on-one time with me, my information is there as well. You can email me, and you can also request to purchase a recorded reading. And recorded readings are really fun, actually. I like that. So that's it. Until next time, like I've always said, take very good care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you at the next one. I love you so much, and Spirit loves you. I'll see you later. I love you. Bye.